Orioles Television Network presents Major League Baseball. We come at you tonight at Oriole Park, Camden Yards, here in downtown Baltimore. Middle game of the three-game series. The defending world champion New York Yankees have Joe Torre in town to see the Orioles. A night of Major League Baseball at the Yard means everything is polished in the orange and black as the Birds get ready to try to even this series. Very good to see everybody. Happy you're with us. I'm Michael Regai. If this were a Broadway show last night, John Parrish would have been in the afterglow for quite a while because it remained all throughout today leading up to this game 2 of the series. Parrish caught the eye of everybody last night, although he took a loss as the Orioles got beat by the New York Yankees at 4-3. With that, we say hello to our telecast colleague Jim Palmer. And Jim, last night in the opening inning, the Orioles had a chance not only in that inning but also in succeeding innings to get after Roger Clemens, who really didn't have his ace stuff last night.
No, he didn't. He didn't have command. He walked 5 and I think struck out 6. Not a lot of hits. Didn't get hit particularly hard, but got a little bit lucky. Already 1-0. Runner on second base to Shields. A double, a sure double. I mean, had double written all over it. Off the bag, right to Brocious. He gets out of the inning with only 1 run. Now here, a couple of guys on. Second and third for Harold Baines, and look at this pitch. Very wide strike zone last night, and Clemens, even though he was wild, at times took advantage of it. So the Orioles 1 for 14 with runners in scoring position, and then you don't play good defense. Coffey, the third baseman, does not see the ball off the bat, makes an error. The Yankees go ahead 4-2. The Orioles add another run and eventually lose by 1. There it is for Roger Clemens. Not a bad performance, got a win, and John Parrish, as you mentioned, rave reviews even though he didn't get the win. The Yankees only 1 hit after the 3rd inning, and again 1 for 14. So 22 years of age. I tell you, I had a chance to talk to him. He said, listen, pretty excited, looking forward to his next start, and he is going to start against the Cleveland Indians on Sunday. So two pretty good tests. The Yankees, the defending world champions, and then the Indians, one of the better hitting clubs in all of baseball.
And if you're John Parrish, you're now armed with a major league contract from VP of Baseball opposite Thrift. We'll tell you more about that in a moment. Andy Pettitte going for his 10th win of the year. He's never lost here at Oriole Park. He's 10-2 lifetime against the Birds. Scott Erickson trying to get closer to the 500 mark. Erickson again trying to build on his win over the Boston Red Sox, his last start here at the Yard. A couple of future Hall of Famers. I think we could say that and have that probably come to fruition in years to come. Joe Torre and Cal Ripken talking baseball before Game 2. The Yanks and the O's starting lineups next.
Orioles Television Network coverage of Orioles baseball is brought to you by Nissan, who invites you to visit your Baltimore area Nissan retailer today. By Bell Atlantic, your guide through the wilds of communication. By Jeep, see what's new at your nearby Jeep dealer. By Pepsi, the joy of cola. By the Maryland Lottery, remember, dare to win. By Volkswagen. And by Southwest Airlines. Log on for low fares at www.southwest.com, a symbol of e-freedom.
Joe Torre and his New York Yankees, they lead the American League East by 2 games over both Boston and Toronto. Yanks now at 10 games over the 500 mark as we take a look at Joe Torre's Russell Automotive starting lineup. Jose Vizcaino gets a call leading off tonight, playing second base. Derek Jeter hits streak at 12 and still rolling the career high. You see 5 from where he sits right now. Jeter at shortstop and hitting number 2 tonight. Paul O'Neill will return to the lineup in right field. O'Neill hits third. It's Bernie Williams, the cleanup man in center field. The DH, David Justice. Justice swinging a very torrid bat of late for the Yankees. Tino Martinez also back in the lineup after a night off against a young lefty, John Parrish. He'll play first base and hit 6th. Jorge Posada doing the catching. Ryan Thompson, the Maryland native, in left field, hitting 8th. And Scott Brocious will hit 9th and play third base. Let's take a look at Mike Hargrove's defensive alignment tonight. Will Clark, Delino DeShields, the 2 veterans on the right side of the infield. Ditto that for the left side. Mike Bordick at shortstop, and Jeff Conine will play third base. In the outfield, a little bit different tonight. P.J. Surhoff in left field. Luis Matos gets the call from Mike Hargrove in center field. And Brady Anderson shifts over to right field this evening. Behind the plate is Charles Johnson and Scott Erickson, who usually is leading the league or right at the top of the league in ground ball fly ball ratio. A little bit off that this year. And Jim, as we look at Erickson, as we said, trying to build on that win over Boston.
Yeah, he is. And I talked to him before the game. He said, all I need tonight is a lot of run support, good defense, and the Orioles have that with Matos playing center and a umpire with a big strike zone. And I said, have you been able to throw in between? Because after the elbow surgery back in March, still bothered by some tendonitis in the elbows. So hadn't been able to throw in between. And we'll take a look at Andy Fletcher. He'll be behind the plate. Not having the kind of command that he normally has, nor the velocity.
Cloudy skies, but still a magnificent night for Orioles baseball. As you settle back and enjoy it with us, relax as the Orioles and the Yankees go at it yet one more time. Birds have won 2 of the 7 meetings between the two clubs this year. Vizcaino, as you see, coming over from the LA Dodgers and putting on the Yankee pinstripes as Erickson's sinker is at the knees to even the count at 1-1.
And the reason I talk about lack of command in his last 11 1/3, that's against the Braves and the Red Sox. 10 walks in 11 1/3 innings. And he said, listen, it just seems that it's better to pitch around some guys or try to make good pitches, even though I haven't really been able to make quality pitches and give up a lot of home runs.
Well, Jim, with velocity down last week, we saw the new wrinkle from Scott Erickson in that start against Boston. He brought out a lot more breaking pitches as he evens the count at 2-2 with another sinker against Vizcaino.
Well, he was very honest, and you can look right there. I mean, 118 hits in 88 2/3. Now, he's been up over innings pitched the last couple of years, and there is the numbers against the Red Sox, and you can see the 6 walks.
This is bounced slowly at Jeff Conine, who's going to let it roll, and it will just miss that bag and scoop foul.
Good play by Jeff. I mean, Mike, if he picks it up, it's a base hit. If he lets it roll, at least you have an opportunity for this ball. I mean, what a great line. I mean, the ball is going to roll right down the line, and it's going to come, and right at the last minute, what you just turned. Not a very good mark there. And Conine let it go. Hoped that a little drainage in that ball, what, about an inch or 2? What did we say in the opening? Game of inches?
That's right.
That's a base hit that ends up to be a jam shot.
Broken bat roller past the mound. DeShields not able to barehand and get Vizcaino, who beat it out. And with that baseball getting down into the camera bay, the home plate umpire, Andy Fletcher, will award Vizcaino second base. So that'll be a base hit and a throw-in error on Delino DeShields. That's how we start this game 2 of the series at the yard.
Scotty Erickson makes a great pitch. I mean, watch where this ball is, all over his fist. Jams him. I mean, he fights it off. Hard play because DeShields has to come back. Vizcaino doesn't run that well. Clark can't come up with it. It goes in the camera thing. There's a great angle right there. Snap throw. Will can't flag it down. Mike Winters, the umpire at first base, watches it go into the camera pit. And they give Jose second base on the error.
Vizcaino in scoring position for Derek Jeter. Jeter's going to put a bunt down, make Conine field with a bare hand. He'll throw out Jeter by a step. Joe Torre might be telling you how good Andy Pettit's been going lately, but Jim, we've talked about this a lot. In an opening inning with 27 outs to play with at this ballpark, to give up an out like that, a little bit different.
Well, you're right there, and you're even righter in the sense that this guy can hit the ball the other way better than anybody, and he can do it without giving himself up. So Jeff Conine with a nice play. They do move Vizcaino to third. And it makes it a lot easier for Paul O'Neill, but I'm not sure that Joe Torre, he's been around this game a long time. He's
1 full season.
Yeah, 162 games over 500, and you don't give up outs. Because you're right, you only get 27 of them.
And look how Mike Hargrove responds. He's going to bring the infield in against Paul O'Neill. O'Neill up near 300. Pinch hit last night late in the game, and O'Neill, of course, who has thrived since putting on the pinstripes uniform of the New York Yankees with Jim last year, the first time in 6 years that he finished under 300.
And he's hitting 340 lifetime off of Scotty Erickson. You move the infield in. It's a calculated gamble. You're hoping he'll hit a ground ball at one of the infielders. Now, he'd like to get something up in the strike zone. And the one thing about Scotty Erickson, you talked about the numbers, still very good as far as ground ball, fly ball ratio. But he has been elevating the ball a little bit more. So O'Neill wants to be able to get something up so he can hit a fly ball or maybe get a base hit. Sammy Ellis hopes that Scotty will be able to throw the sinker. And the reason he hasn't been able to do it is because that elbow has been bothering him. Can't extend.
A 1-1 to O'Neill. Base hit center field. Yanks to get on the board. Vizcaino to the plate. give Paul O'Neill RBI number 61 in the year. Infield in, and O'Neill all over Erickson with a shot up the middle.
Well, you give yourself up, you make it easier for Paul O'Neill. He gets a great pitch to hit. I mean, watch this curveball, just, or actually kind of a hanging slider, belt high, line drive up the middle. And there's Jose Vizcaino, make it 1-0 Yankees. Knobloch not playing tonight because hurt his arm on a double play throw last night. So he's going to sit out.
Yeah, the injury situation continues for Chuck Knobloch. He's had wrist injuries, hand injuries this year, and now the arm ailment. As Erickson will miss down and away to the switch hitter, facing Erickson from the left side, of course, Bernie Williams. Williams having a monstrous year for the Bronx Bombers. 329 with his 89 runs driven in.
Look at those numbers, 47 for your last 130, almost 400. And in New York at will, left field. When you come in quick enough, I mean, you know, he used to have a big long swing. That right elbow used to get away from him, but much quicker. See how he keeps that right elbow, even the practice swing, close to his body? That's one of the keys to be able to hit the ball inside. It's a quicker stroke, able to keep the ball fair.
Well, Erickson dealing 1-1 to Williams, and Charles Johnson had to move to his right to keep the slider in front of him.
Well, Mike Flanagan sitting next door, our colleague, and you know, he's talking when Scotty is right. He's going to be able to, you could take a little rectangle and put it down and away. There's Mike. But you could go down and away at will.
Off speed from Erickson. Broke out a slider with a little bit less velocity on it to even the count against Bernie Williams.
See, O'Neill hits a hanging breaking ball, and here's your good one. Goes down very quickly.
Scott Erickson for the third time this year, Jim, facing the New York Yankees. Of course, made his first start of the season as Scott, of course, had the elbow worked on. After arriving at spring training, he didn't make his first start till the 4th of May. Didn't get a decision and go in 6 innings that night at Yankee Stadium, and then followed that up with the July 4th effort. Got into the 8th inning, left having given up just 3 runs, and the Orioles produced a 7-6 win as they held off the Yanks. It's 2-2 to Bernie Williams. Line drive at the Shields. He is going to double up Paul O'Neill. Williams hit it hard right at the Shields. Birds get the double play to get out of the inning. Paul O'Neill's RBI base hit has the Yankees on top. Orioles coming to hit. The O's have lost a couple in a row and now 12 games again under the 500 mark. 4th place in the AL East. Take a look at Mike Hargrove's Russell Automotive Orioles starting lineup. Brady Anderson leads off and plays right field again this evening. Mike Bordick is at shortstop, hitting 3rd and playing second base. Delano DeShields. Cleanup man tonight doing the DHing is Albert Bell. Jeff Conine back at the starting lineup at 3rd base. Conine hitting 5th. BJ Surhoff slides down to the number 6 hole in left field. Charles Johnson will do the catching, hit 7th. Will Clark is hitting 8th and playing first base. Will has been as explosive as that proverbial 4th of July firecracker this month. And Luis Matos will hit 9th, play center field. Defensively for the world champion Yankees, Tino Martinez, Jose Vizcaino on the right side of the infield. Derek Jeter and Scott Brosius man the left side. Ryan Thompson in left. Bernie Williams in center field. He's the only American leaguer that has not committed an error this year in the outfield. And Paul O'Neill plays right. Same story for O'Neill. Jorge Posada behind the plate. And Andy Pettitte never lost here at Oriole Park. Pettitte 6-0 for the Yankees here and 10-2 lifetime against the Birds. Dealing to Brady Anderson, the Orioles leadoff man. And Jim, those numbers alone show how tough Andy Pettitte has been against the Orioles.
Well, the thing, Brady comes in here at 310. And this year you could see 188 left-handers.
Got jammed, ground ball to the hole. Going to be a tough play for Jeter. Not going to be able to make a throw.
So that number will go up. Not hit particularly hard, but well placed. Kind of a backup, maybe a slider that he hits all over his fist. And a leg hit for the Braidster. It's a little jam shot. Brocious can't get it, and Jeter does the wise thing. He just puts it in his pocket.
Both leadoff men start the game with balls fisted in the same fashion. Vizcaino and Anderson, and now you see Richie Bancels, fine Orioles trainer, is on his way out as Brady is trying to stretch out after going into that 30-yard sprint to the bag at first.
Well, you hope it's a cramp. You kind of hope what happened to Michael Johnson, where he had a cramp, not a hamstring pull. Of course, Maurice Green made a little bit different in that 200 race for the Olympic trials.
Brady, who has suffered a series of quadricep and leg injuries that have slowed him down through the last few years.
And take a look going down the line. Didn't really appear that he slowed up at all. So maybe, hopefully, it's just a cramp. Now, if you're thinking about stealing, forget it. Because this guy, one of the great pickoff moves. They've attempted to steal 4 times, only successful twice.
Here's Mike Bordick now to face Andy Pettitte with Anderson aboard. The Yanks got one in the opening inning on the Paul O'Neill RBI single off Scott Erickson to claim the early lead. Well, Mike Bordick had a busy day yesterday, and it subsided a little today, but of course the throng of New York Yankee beat writers, both on the print side and also the broadcasters, engulfed Bordick, asking him about the deal that is supposedly in the works with the New York Mets. And of course, there's Sid Thrift, the Orioles VP of baseball operations. I talked to Sid Thrift before the game, and he said there's no deal going on with Bordick and the Mets. I said, Sid, did you tell everybody everything you know? He said, of course not. So you draw your own conclusions from that.
Now, today, the New York Times had B.J. Surhoff going to the Yankees. And, of course, B.J. said, I thought I got ambushed. About 12 or 14 writers came up to me. Yesterday, I thought Bordick had been traded. So when the writers left, I said, are you still with the team? He goes, put his hand over his heart. He said, yes. But the Mets do need a shortstop.
That they do. 2-1 to Bordick. Ground ball up the middle. Jeter to the bag for one. The Yanks will turn the 6-3 double play as Derek Jeter took it himself, handling the ground ball to his left off the bat of Mike Bordick.
I mean, this is just a tailor-made double play, and little fastball in, you get jammed, and watch right here, Jeter's just going to wave off. He takes a little wave over to Vizcaino and says, I don't need you.
Watch Brady Anderson veer out of the way here. Might not see it in this particular look. A little bit.
Well, he knows, though. I mean, it's you can't do anything.
Sure.
And you get out of the way because shortstops, they don't like the idea that you stand up. It's a tendency. So if you go to your right or your left, you get out of their situation. I mean, I saw Louis Aparicio. Guy didn't get down, hit him right in the forehead. Not on purpose. You either got to get out of the way or slide. Man, it's kind of premature to slide 20 feet in front of the bag.
So Andy Pettitte picks up the double play ball after the infield hit from Brady Anderson. Here's Delano DeShields. DeShields becoming a fixture in the number 3 spot in the lineup for Mike Hargrove as Pettitte will miss with his breaking ball.
Well, it's interesting that not this year, even though Erickson's right up there in the top as far as throwing ground balls, but the last 2 or 3 years, Pettitte and Erickson, number 1 and number 2 in the American League as far as throwing ground balls.
3-1 now on Delano. Shields with a couple of stolen bases last night, so bumped Delano up to 26 thefts on the year. Far and away leads the Orioles, and right among the American League leaders. Now Pettitte's 3-1. The Shields will drive the gap. Bernie Williams can't get there. He'll play it on one hop. The Shields think he double. Williams throw. Not in time. Two-base hit, Delano to Shields. Jim, that double was earned after contact right out of the box.
The guy can fly. Flat out fly, and when he's healthy, and we saw it last night with 2 stolen bases, they can do a lot of things offensively. And right here, the play's in front of him. I mean, Williams makes a nice play. He's got to turn around, doesn't get much on the throw. I mean, it's very accurate, but the Shields very easily, Delano running all the way, and he's safe. So an Orioles with an opportunity here with Albert Bell coming to the plate to possibly either tie this game or go ahead.
No, Albert Bell, over 300 lifetime against Andy Pettitte. You see, Albert, though, is 1 plate appearance away from matching his longest homerless run of his big league career. Albert has not gone deep in his last 91 at-bats. It'll be 92 now as he bounces it on a big hop at Scott Brosius, who throws out Bell, inning over. Pettitte got the double play grounder and then got Bell with the Shields at scoring position. After the Yankees put 1 on the board in the opening inning, Scott Erickson induced Bernie Williams to line into this Popeyes double play. Shot right at Delano to Shields.
Well, good at bat for Williams. Not very good base running by O'Neill. You have to make the ball go behind, at least go through. And that ball hit so hard, not a chance when he took that extra step or 2. So the Shields turns it into a double play.
Another big throng here at the yard. 47,500 or thereabouts last night. It'll match that or exceed it tonight. Orioles second in all of baseball in average attendance. There's David Justice, former Cleveland Indian, former Atlanta Brave, and Justice, after Jim getting off to a little bit of a slow start with the bat in his new environment in Yankee Stadium, really has kicked it into gear already with 5 home runs as a member of the Yankees, and had a 10-game hit streak that was snapped on Sunday, and the Yanks win over Tampa.
So now he's hitting 11 out of 12 at .415, 4 home runs, 12 RBIs. He's having a monster year, more home runs this year, 26, and he's hit the last 2 years where he's had all kinds of injuries. And he's used to playing on a winner. Played on a winner in Atlanta, played on a winner in Cleveland. And he can hit left-handed pitching. Not that you see a whole lot of it.
2-1 from Erickson. Justice with a ground ball that Will Clark will play on that big hop. Justice is gone to open up inning number 2. Maybe an inning into it, but never hurts to get Jim Palmer to break this one down. Jim, what about our 4 keys to the game?
Well, the Yankees, they love to play the Orioles. 27 wins in the last 37 games, 5-2 this year, and Pettitte's been struggling. What better team at 10-2 lifetime, 6-0 here at the yard for the Orioles. Right-handers step up because lefties are batting .188 against Pettitte, and for Scotty Erickson, you can see he's been wild. 10 walks in his last 11-plus innings.
There's Tino Martinez, left-handed hitting first baseman. Tino going through a dry spell at the plate right now. Average down under 260. Home runs driven in, down. When you talk Tino Martinez averaging during the course of his time in Yankee pinstripes with better than 120 runs driven in since he came over from Seattle per season.
But the interesting thing to me is that his numbers as far as batting average, hitting .320 with runners in scoring position. I talked to him at length today, and he said, I said, there's word that you're pressing. Joe thinks you're pressing. He said, listen, in this day and age where all kinds of guys are hitting home runs, he said the only thing I'm pressing about is the fact that I have 9 home runs and a lot of other guys have 20, 25. He said I'll go through periods of times where I'll have good at bats, and then I'll start thinking home runs, especially when I either come up with a couple of guys, nobody on. He comes up with runners in scoring position. He's a line drive hitter. Comes up with 2 outs, he's trying to hit a home run, and that just doesn't happen.
Martinez aboard. With a 1-out walk as Erickson missed with 4 straight. And here's Jorge Posada now. Posada having a fine year. Made the American League All-Star squad. He's one of the backups. And how about the unfortunate season-ending injury to Pudge Rodriguez last night as he was trying to make a throw to second base with Mo Vaughn at the plate. Broken thumb for Rodriguez, which will shelf him the rest of the way. It's called strike to Posada.
Told you last inning about that little rectangle that Scotty Erickson has. And that's basically what Mike Flanagan was talking about. And we'll show you in a pitch or two the ability to hit that outside corner. Not with his breaking ball like that, but I mean, if you look at from the center field right here, I mean, he could throw the ball right about there. So if we just move that box, he can stay right here in that little box. So he can just stay right on the outside corner. Lately, because of the elbow, hasn't been able to do that. So the command not where he'd liked it to be.
It stayed high, 2-2 now on Posada.
And there's a tendency when your arm bothers you, what happens is you try to use your body more. And one of the keys to pitching is staying over the rubber long enough to get your arm out in front. But when you're drifting down the rubber and down the mound, can't do it. So he's 91 instead of maybe 93 or 4. And of course, Sammy Ellis, the pitching coach, saying, listen, if you get your arm up, doesn't really matter whether you throw 91 or 94. But it does matter what Scotty thinks. So maybe he's trying to throw a little harder, and what happens is mechanics go awry.
2-2 to Posada. He tried to backdoor that outside corner. Of course, Erickson came over in the middle of the '95 season from the Minnesota Twins, and probably have to go down as one of the finest deals that the Orioles have been able to swing. Camara Barti and Scott Klingenbeck go to Minnesota. Martinez is going as Posada fouls it off. Erickson won 9 games to finish out the '95 season with the Birds, and had a couple of 16-win seasons in '97 and '98, and after the abysmal start last year at 1-8, rallied to finish 3 games over 500. So he's sitting on, in his almost 5 full seasons as an Oriole, 74 wins in the orange and black. Again, Martinez going in. That pitch will miss, and Jorge Posada is aboard. Back-to-back walks to Martinez and now Posada. And Jim, there's what you just spoke of, the walk starting to hurt, creep up, and then culminate in runs against Scott Erickson.
Well, you get under everything, and you're a sinker baller. You want to throw the ball, even when you miss, below the knees. And if you sit at home tonight, just see how many breaking balls, how many fastballs are up in the strike zone, and that's not where he's at his most effective.
And here's Ryan Thompson. Thompson, as we mentioned, the native of this state of Maryland, playing in the ballpark that he called the home of the team that he rooted for as a youngster. He said Jim just wanted to be able to go take pregame BP here in Camden Yards, and both times he had the opportunity, pregame hitting practice washed away. Ground ball that Conine will handle. We'll go to DeShields for 1, and that's all the O's will be able to get. Thompson runs well. DeShields not able to make a throw on that slow hit bouncing ball at Jeff Conine.
Now that's a ball. If it's a couple of feet to Jeff Conine's right, more down the line, he's going to catch the ball and tag third base. But see, he's way off the bag. Now if it's to his right, our left. But right here, he's going to come in. Again, it's not a guy that plays a lot of third, even though he's done that in the last month since Cal's been out. So he takes the lead runner, at least the lead runner in the sense of the guy going from first to second, and you have 2 outs here in the second inning.
Runners on the corners now for Scott Brosius, the number 9 hitter. Brosius did not have a base hit last night, went 0 for 3, and he too scuffling a little bit at the plate. Brosius, though, Jim, always seems to, especially at Yankee Stadium, light up against Orioles pitching, already with 11 runs driven in against the Birds this year. 11 of the 39 against the Orioles staff. Going is Thompson. Charles Johnson's throw. He got him, cut him down. DeShields snapped that tag down on Ryan Thompson. And that'll end inning number 2. Yankees lead it 1-0. Yanks had one in the opening inning there, 1-0 lead, standing up as we will head to the bottom of the second on it's turned into another beautiful night at the yard. Charles Johnson gunning down Ryan Thompson, trying to steal to end the second.
Yeah, so Charles now 12 out of let's see, 11 out of 47, now 12 out of 48. Low for him, but a lot of the times not his fault. And that's a play. If you looked at that play again, you'd see he doesn't even look down at third base because Tino Martinez doesn't run well. Just figure he comes up and has a chance to throw out Thompson, and the inning's over.
Jeff Conine picks that 3 for 3 that he put together against the Toronto Blue Jays on Sunday. Might get him started again. Conine, who pinch hit against Mariano Rivera last night and flied out to end the 8th. Facing Andy Pettitte. Conine back at the 280 mark as Pettitte will miss up and away to even the count at 1-1.
Well, we see Pettitte do, as we said, 10-2 against the Orioles, 22nd round draft selection. We saw John Parrish last night, 25th. Now, obviously, there's only 2 pitchers that have won more games over the last 4 years, and that's Pedro Martinez and Greg Maddux. So obviously Pettitte with a lot more experience than the young man we just saw, which was John Parrish, major league debut against the Yankees. Then he gets the Indians.
Not a bad way to start, huh?
It's like taking 2 finals. Yeah, how about you got to cram for those 2 teams?
A real cram course, no doubt about it. And the young man handled it beautifully last night in front of a lot of friends and family from Lancaster, PA. Hot shot off the leg of Pettitte will ricochet to Jeter, who will come up throwing to get Jeff Conine. That'll go down in the book, 1-6-3. Conine ripped it hard up the middle. Pettitte deflected it toward Derek Jeter. You can see Andy already saying, "I'm all right," as Joe Torre amongst the entire Yankee infield making their way to the mound to check on Pettitte.
Well, we always talk about a live ball. Watch how quickly this ball gets back up the middle, right off his landing leg. That's his right leg. And just as last night, the ball off the bag, right to Brocious, the ball off the leg, right to Jeter. So I guess it's a combination. It's kind of what Tiger Woods talked about. He said, "Yeah, I'm very happy the way I played, but you have to have good luck to win a U.S. Open and win a British Open." And the Yankees, as good as they are, they're getting some breaks.
Preparation and exact with your execution will bring you some luck, won't it? Kind of think that's a Tiger Woods story.
Yep.
Here's B.J. Surhoff now as Pettitte will deal his breaking ball that bends in for a called strike.
Well, it's also the Yankees story.
Oh, sure.
It's any good team's
You make
story.
your own breaks. You play well. Better teams have the breaks that follow, as Surhoff not liking the attempted hack that he had there as Pettitte ran his fastball down and in.
Now, we told you the numbers, 188 left-handed batters against Andy Pettitte, even though 2 lefties already with base hits tonight. Brady Anderson with an infield hit, and then the Shields with a line drive. But now you figure, well, maybe he's that way every year. But over the last 3 years, Pettitte against left-handed batters, 295. So we're talking 107 points lower. And Mel Stottlemyre, the pitching coach, I asked him up in New York why. He said better breaking ball. And able to get his breaking ball over against the lefties.
Well, too, Jim, his cutter has always been more effective against right-handed hitters than against the left-handed hitters. As cutter against lefties will run back toward the middle of the plate. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, well, it should go away, but you can't always do that. And most good left-handed hitters can cover the outside portion of the plate. There's a little slider cutter right there. That big overhand curveball. And when I first saw Pettitte, he pitched here at here at Camden Yards, and I said, boy, this guy reminds me of an old type pitcher. At that time, didn't throw many cutters, but he was a curveball, fastball, changeup pitcher. And then he came up with that cut fastball, which actually a little more pressure, pulled the ball a little bit off center to the left of the ball, and fell in love with it. In fact, a lot of guys thought he threw it too much.
Now Pettitte's 2-2 to Surhoff. The breaking ball stayed in. So from 0-2 now to 3-2 on BJ. And Most ironic thing is this time last year, George Steinbrenner had just about seen enough of Andy Pettitte, who was struggling in the first half. His name was bandied about everywhere, and Brian Cashman, Joe Torre, and the baseball people stepped in and said, we don't want to deal Pettitte as Surhoff will lash a base hit center field. So BJ comes out of the 0-2 hole against Pettitte and rips the base hit with one out here in the second. Deal almost went through to send Pettitte to the Philadelphia Phillies last year and was stopped at the 11th hour.
So now 3 left-handers with base hits off Pettitte. And BJ, he's been extremely hot. You know, even last night, that unlucky break, the ball hitting the bag, going right to Brocious, a line drive to left.
There's Charles Johnson now. Charles, along with Delano Shields, the 2 best Oriole hitters against the New York Yankees staff this year. Charles, with a home run, he's driven in 4. One of the 4 runs driven in against the Yanks is double to the gap in right center field last night off Roger Clemens.
Yeah, he drove one and looped one.
Johnson with a base hit center field, lined by the glove of Andy Pettitte up the middle. Surhoff will check in at second base. So the Orioles with back-to-back base hits off Pettitte.
See, Andy's fastball somewhere between 87 and 90. So if he doesn't make good pitches and he doesn't cut the ball in, which he didn't there, and your Charles Johnson, you 2 for 4 last night. I mean, over your last 21 games, you've hit a bunch of home runs. You're hitting over 300. That big long swing that you came to Baltimore with is gone. I'm going to miss those pitches too much.
No, he doesn't.
Nor is the guy at the plate right now, because he's been hot. And there it is, 10 for 22 in his last 6 games.
Will Clark has lit up like that 4th of July firecracker this month. Clark had an amazing run, and it really got going, the power numbers, when interleague play started the second week of June.
Andy Ashby.
That's right. Will had not homered until June the 11th, and then went deep. And now with 9 home runs in that 6-week period.
Well, he's been healthy. He's been playing a lot. On base percentage still awesome. And now hitting for power.
Pettitte's breaking ball will find the zone to even the count at 1-1.
But the Orioles, to beat the Yankees, are going to have to do what they couldn't do last night. They got good pitching last night, played pretty well defensively, other than the key error by Coffey, that a ball he didn't see off the bat, is they're going to have to hit better than that 1 for 14 in runners in scoring position. And here's a chance to do it right here.
Runners moving. Pitch misses. Posada's throw, and he is going to miss Surhoff as BJ got under the tag of Scott Brocious. Oh, Joe Torre and Brocious cannot believe it as third base umpire Fielding Culbreth called Surhoff safe. Jim, we'll take a look at it, but the ball definitely beat BJ to the bag.
But it looked like he slid right into the glove. Now I'm just looking over the monitor, and Joe Torre said, hey, it's right in front of you. I mean, great throw from his knees. Posada just throws a BB down there. I don't care if you're Hargrove or Torre, you got to be pretty frustrated. Look at that, from the knees. There's the tag. Now I'll tell you what, front leg did get in, but the ball beats him. And normally, now watch his left leg. He tags his right leg. Now there's no doubt about it that the ball beats him, but he did not tag him before that left leg got in there. So what seemed to be a bad call might have been the right call. I know you're looking at me like I'm crazy, but just because you got to tag the runner.
Oh, no, not at all. Clark with a fly ball, shallow left, coming on Ryan Thompson. This isn't going to be deep enough to be able to score Surhoff. So Pettitte, after the double steal, gets Will Clark on the fly ball to shallow left. No, Jim, you're absolutely right. My point is, though, is that 99 times out of 100, if a ball beats you, you're going to be called out regardless of whether you're tagged or not. Correct?
Yep. Well, there's your one time.
There's your one time, and you're right.
And the Orioles failed to take advantage of it, at least to this point.
So Clark out on the fly ball to shallow left.
So Pettitte with runners in scoring position, and one of the reasons he's won 9 games, I mean 237, but with 2 outs in this situation, 122.
And it's the youngster Luis Matos. You see all 5 of his base hits against the left-handers as Pettit will drop the breaking ball in for a called strike. So Luis Matos making another start. This is his 8th of the year for Mike Hargrove in center field. Well, everybody loving the looks of Luis defensively. Terry Crowley continues every day to work diligently with this young man on his skills at the plate. Ground ball that Brosius will handle on the big hop and throw out Matos. Pettit got out of it. Orioles leave a couple more in scoring position. That's 3 already through the first 2 innings. Tonight's Maryland Lottery Baseball scratch-off triple play winner is Emma Hayward of Mount Rainier, Maryland. Emma, you've won $50 worth of scratch-off tickets, and now you're automatically entered in the grand prize drawing on the 1st of August for $100,000. Now, to enter the Maryland Lottery scratch-off triple play game, send $5 worth of any non-winning ticket to the address on your screen. Tune in to every Orioles game to see if you're a winner, and remember, you have to dare to win. Up here joining this one at the yard tonight, Michael Regite, Jim Palmer. Orioles gave up the run to the Yanks on the Paul O'Neill base hit in the opening inning. That's where we stand as we head to the 3rd. Scott Brosius to lead it off for the Yankees. Brosius was at the plate when Charles Johnson cut down Ryan Thompson attempting to steal to end that 2nd inning. Scott Erickson was able to wiggle off the hook in the 2nd after he issued back-to-back walks to Martinez and Posada. A sinker for a called strike. Erickson trying to battle through, velocity being down a little bit. As we said, Jim, he's gone to that. We saw it against Boston on Thursday. I would say probably what I don't remember, maybe 10 to 12 breaking pitches he threw.
And some more changeups. Well, which is what Mike Flanagan, who was a pitching coach when Scotty signed the 5-year deal, said, hey, let's plan for the future. Now, you're not planning for bone chips, but you're planning for the times when you don't have your best stuff. And I still go back to a couple of years ago when he beat Atlanta an hour and 53 minutes or whatever it was, 3-2. In fact, Denny Nagel, who now with the Yankee, beat Nagel 3-2 on 5 solo home runs. Orioles hit 3. He threw 2 curveballs. Maybe in the 3rd and the 5th, and the next day Bobby Cox, 96 miles per hour with a sinker as the Oriole dugout, they scattered. You know, hard sliders about 89 to 91, and the next day Cox said, where did he come up with that curveball? There's something to show the hitters that you'll throw it.
2-2 to Brosius. This is flared to right. It's going to fall for a base hit. Brosius got it out on the end of the bat. Sinking fastball that's running away from him, and Brosius with plate coverage got some wood on it and dropped it into short right for the base hit.
Yeah, he kind of sneers a little bit, but he'll take it.
Tonight's Mars Supermarket's first pitch sweepstakes contestant is John Eubank III from Lutherville, Maryland. Now, John, unfortunately, you incorrectly predicted tonight's first pitch would result in the hitter reaching base, but you will receive a $10 Mars gift certificate and an HTS t-shirt. You get your prize within 30 days. This Sciano squaring and showing bunt and taking a called strike.
You know, I asked Jose, I said, do you like coming over to the Yankees from the Dodgers? And he said, you know, the interesting thing is the day I put on this uniform, and of course Vizcaino played with the Mets, he said it's a total different environment. He said everybody is geared to win. And he said, you know, and he said the amazing thing is, he said, I look at the Dodgers, they have better talent than the Yankees, but they have a lot of guys to play for themselves. He said, you got to look at this. I mean, here's a guy that just showed up. He said the years they've won the 3 World Championships, I think only one time did they have somebody hit over 30 home runs. So it's not about long ball. It's about good pitching, good defense, on base percentage, moving guys over like Jeter did, ended up scoring. And maybe we don't agree with the philosophy. Of course, it looks pretty good when you have the best bullpen and you have a guy like Pettit who pitches very well. Those are the little things, the preparation, the pride. I mean, that probably is as important as anything.
He gutted
why he wanted to come over there, didn't he?
Yeah, but he gutted that performance out last night. He won his 5th straight, but McClemens saying, I did not have my usual arsenal with me. Ground ball over the mound, back through the middle, and by a diving to Shields. Base hit center field. It had eyes off the bat of Vizcaino. It cleared 3 gloves. First Erickson, and then between Bordick and Shields. Back-to-back base hits from Brosius and Vizcaino. And Jim, he's looking in the first 2 pitches to give the Orioles an out, and now comes up with a bouncy ball base hit.
And it's just well placed. I mean, it's exactly what Scotty wants. The high chopper. Now there's been a flare. Brosius started off the inning with a flare. Just a Baltimore chop up the middle. Little dodgeball right there. The Shields sliding forward. Bordick over. And then now what's Jeter going to do? Going to give himself up again?
He might.
We are talking about one of the better hitters of hitting the ball to the opposite field.
Jeter facing Erickson and looking at the sinker for a called strike.
See that fastball at 93. For Scotty, a little bit extra. Great location. In fact, such a good location, Jeter didn't even think about swinging it.
Derek Jeter with 3 championship rings with the New York Yankees before he turned 26 years of age, as Erickson will miss down in the way. Certainly has established himself as one of the top talents in the game. Shortstop, yes, but regardless of position.
Well, it's interesting to me. I mean, when you look at the 3 dominant shortstops in the American League, we're talking about Alex Rodriguez, Nomar Garciaparra, and Derek Jeter. Not only are they marvelous players in many, many ways, but they respect the game, they love the game, and you can see it the way they play. I'm not saying that other players don't, because that's not the case. But these guys, I mean, they emulate what you like to be able to do.
Torrey with a little bit of hit and run there as he started Brosius and Vizcaino as Jeter fouled it away.
When I asked Joe Torre, Don Zimmer to his left, our right, I said, you know, a lot of times Zim's got that intensive look, that real intensive look, very tense look. And he said, well, if you got hit by a line drive like you did a couple of years, it was last night. I mean, he said that's what he's always paying attention to. Got hit, and then the next night showed up in that that Army helmet?
Sure,
with the Yankee colors on it.
That's right. 2-2 to Jeter. This down and in. Erickson has run the count out now. And we'll see what Joe Torre has in mind here with Brosius and Vizcaino. Scott Erickson, as you see, the double play ground ball opportunities between this year and last.
Well, you think they'll send him? I don't think so.
Probably not. Well, they're moving. 3-2 pitch. Jeter will foul it off.
Yeah, that's a lot of respect right there. You got a guy that can handle the bat, want to stay out of the double play. Now, Jim Frecosi came in with Toronto, and he said, you know what? He said, the last time I started runners at first and second was when a guy had a line drive right to the second baseman for a triple play.
And he said, never again.
Never again. He said, all it takes is one time for that to happen, because I'll tell you what, they run again, and you get the line drive at a middle infielder.
Sure.
You might even have an unassisted triple play if it's hit just perfect.
They're moving again, and Jeter will foul it right side.
Of course, what are the odds of that happening?
Slim. Very slim.
So if you're playing high percentage baseball, I mean, this guy doesn't strike out better. He hits the ball all over, but he can hit the ball to the right side, which will be what that area of maximum vulnerability that Charlie Lau used to talk about. If you're Scotty Erickson and Charles Johnson, I mean, Scotty's got to throw a strike. Charles Johnson's got to frame it. So even if you strike out, he's got to take a little bit longer behind the plate.
Runners move again. 3-2 pitch. Bounce foul. Joe Torre 3 straight times starting Brosius and Vizcaino. You look at Luis Matos at center field. That's 6 to 8 yards to the right field side of second base. They're playing Jeter like a left-handed pull hitter.
Now, see, Brady doesn't believe in doing that, but I think if you're going to, and of course the important thing is, are you going to pitch to your defense? Are you going to make the pitch away? See, now they moved over a little bit. Brady moved over in right center. Matos still where he was.
Another 3-2, lined on one hop at Bordick. He'll pick it and throw out Jeter.
Another 3 feet, and you got yourself a triple play. As it turns out, it's a stroke of genius for Joe Torre because he's got a guy that can make contact. You start the runners. Even though you don't get the base hit, it's like a sacrifice bunt. And again, this ball another 3-4 feet. Or maybe 5 or 6 feet. I have a tendency to exaggerate at times.
Oh, never. Of course not.
Come Bordick didn't charge it.
It's got to be anticipating.
That's right. It would have made me look better.
Mike Bordick steady as a rock at shortstop. Here's Paul O'Neill now. 2 in scoring position. Ground ball at DeShields. That'll get Brosius to the plate as DeShields throws out O'Neill. Give Paul O'Neill his second RBI of the night. 62 on the year, and the Yanks bump the lead to 2-0.
Well, you play your infield back because of base hit. Like the first time up, they played him in, and he got a base hit this time. Scotty throws him a good sinker. You get the out, but the Yankees, by starting the runners and Jeter making contact, pick up another run. Little ball, manufacturing runs.
Well, this guy into a third base now, but with 2 down, and here's Bernie Williams. Bernie is 0 for 5 in the series. Orioles kept it quiet last night. And he lined into a double play, hit it hard, but right at DeShields. This is line to left, base hit. This guy into the plate, Bernie Williams, clutch 2-out single to left. 3-0 Yankees for Bernie Williams. RBI number 90 on the year. Putting himself right amongst the tops in the American League run producers.
We'll go back to that number. Pettit at 122. Scotty Erickson over 300 with 2 outs in runner scoring position. Okay, and that's why this guy won a batting title a couple of years ago. You got to make awfully good pitches to get him out.
Another tough customer to deal with, David Justice. There goes the wood over the head of Will Clark as Justice is left with the handle of the bat in his hand as he got just sheared off by Scott Erickson.
We talked so many times about a lot of batters. A lot of hitters go up there with a much lighter bat. That's the word we used a couple of weeks ago, implode.
Implode, right. Erickson trying to get David Justice with Williams aboard. This is driven to left. Surhoff chasing back. He can't get it. By him up against the wall. Bernie Williams going to get waved in. Here comes Bordick's throw to the plate. The slide. Safe. Williams beat the relay throw from Mike Bordick to Charles Johnson, and now it's Mike Hargrove who will come out and question the home plate umpire Andy Fletcher.
Mike Bordick, I don't think, got a very good grip on it. And of course, if you're the manager, Mike Hargrove, you're up on the steps. You're trying to get a better view just in case the umpire doesn't get it right in your mind. But a tremendous play off the wall by Surhoff. He hits Bordick, and then you're looking at a guy that used to be a 200-meter. I mean, watch this play. Look how quickly BJ gets it off the wall. Right to Bordick. Now it's going to be a foot race, and this guy can fly. And I think he's underneath the tag only because the ball might short hop it. Great angle right here. See how the ball short hop it? And he's in there. That left foot hit the base. So a good call by the home plate umpire, Andy Fletcher. The ball doesn't short hop, he's out. Look how much time Johnson would have had to drop the tag. Great camera work.
Tremendous camera work, and also kudos to our stellar crew in tape.
Oh, yeah.
The boys racking that up and giving you 3 different looks.
Well, look at that
Bernie
speed.
Williams.
I mean, you could not play it any better. I guess other than maybe Bordick getting a little bit more on the throw. But what an inning for the Yankees. A blooper or a chopper.
And David Justice, of course, with all the activity with Williams steaming to the plate, Justice kept going, and he's 90 feet away at third base now. Give him a double and the run driven in. Now Erickson's got to shut it off right here. He's got to get Tino Martinez with the Yanks already up by 4. Couple of 2-out base hits, Jim. And that's what the ball clubs are all about, as Martinez will foul it away. So Erickson's sitting on being down just 2-0 until Williams and Justice deliver with 2 out.
Well, think about it. It's the only way you can score a run unless the other ball club makes an error, a miscue. The 2-out hit, probably one of the more difficult, if not the most difficult thing offensively in baseball. I think Kenny Singleton, who was former Oriole, now broadcast for the Yankees, he said something about Scotty Erickson. He said if he's not able to throw between starts and his ERA, is over 7 runs a game, why is he pitching? I mean, a major investment in Scotty Erickson. So if you can't really prepare for your starts and your velocity's down, your performance is down, why would you let somebody that valuable go out there? Pretty good question.
Martinez trying to check it, and did on that 2-2 pitch. Well, it leaves the question to be asked, can you possibly be as sharp going to the mound every 5 days? Jim, as you spoke of Kenny Singleton suggesting how without being able to put your work in on the side. 2-2 pitch, sky to center field. Luis Matos has got it inning over. However, damage done. The Yankees get 3 with RBIs from O'Neill, Williams, and Justice. Bernie Williams beating the throw from Mike Bordick. 4-0 Yankees. You can pick up this high-quality, very nice-looking Orioles sports bag tonight for $25 plus shipping and handling. Operator standing by, so give them a call at 888-624-BIRD right now. Just like they did last night, the Yankees put a 3 spot on the board in inning number 3. They bumped the lead now to 4-0 for the 9-game winner, Andy Pettitte. Cell phone showing some disdain for the Bronx Bombers. All right, Phil Frazaka. Hey, he said he grew up going to school up in Bridgeport, Connecticut. He actually liked the Yankees then. My, how times change, huh, Philip?
When I got in the Hall of Fame, I said, I guess it proves I'm not perfect. I rooted for the Yankees the first 17 years of my life. You didn't know better.
You were born in Manhattan.
Yeah, I was.
So did the family put all the little Yankee gear on you when you were a little fella walking around Fifth Avenue and Madison Avenue and Park Avenue?
I'm sure I had a Yankee hat.
Okay.
Doesn't everybody?
In New York?
No, just, well, you could see
some
it.
have Mets caps.
Yeah.
These days. Allegiances can be split a little bit.
In fact, up at the Hall of Fame, I mean, of course, the Yankees have won 3 out of the last 4 World Championships. They have their own little section. In fact, I told O'Neill, I said I just walked right by it. He just started laughing.
Pettitte's 1-2 to Brady Anderson. Broken bat, soft line drive right at Jose Vizcaíno for out number 1. Well, from Arundel High School. There was a story done by Bill Free, one of the baseball writers of the Baltimore Sun today, about Denny Nagel and loving the Orioles, loving the University of Maryland. Saw the late great Len Bias at a Maryland practice and said, "Wow, the guy's Superman." And it was all about Baltimore and Maryland for Denny Nagel as you look at some of the pickups that have joined Nagel, and we'll get back to that. With Dwight Gooden, of course, already 2-0. David Justice in 19 games, now just driving in his 15th run. Glenn Allen Hill in his Yankee debut with a long home run last night. And Vizcaíno playing second base when Chuck Knobloch is either feeling a little bit of physical discomfort, as he is tonight, or out of the lineup. But
well, 4 prospects for Nagel. He won 16 out of his last 18 games. He said his arm is healthy. In fact, I talked to him before the game.
Bordick going to drive to deep left center. Bernie Williams is there, and he's going to put it away.
Said he wants to win, wants to re-sign with a team, and said it'll probably take Chuck Finley money, which is what, 27,000, somewhere in that range for 3 years.
He also said, though, leaning toward the Bronx.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Jim, you walk over in that clubhouse, like I said, there's Doc Gooden, who gets a baseball tomorrow night against Sidney Ponson, already 2-0, and with a very strong relief outing for the Yankees.
We're going to see it. We'll see Gooden tomorrow.
That's right, against Ponson.
But the The interesting thing, the Yankees have needed a left fielder or needed a left-handed bat. They went out and got Justice. They needed somebody because of Knobloch's defensive deficiency. They went out and got Vizcaíno. Now, I mean, he can play a lot of positions. I mean, he can play shortstop. That's because that's what he did with the Mets. So they plugged a lot of holes. They need a guy off the bench with power. They got Glenn Allen Hill. He's got 9 pinch hit home runs, 4 last year for the Cubs.
1-1 to the Shields. Ground ball to Derek Jeter. Handle that hop. That low throw is picked by Tino Martinez. Inning over. Orioles go quietly against Andy Pettitte. Yanks have a 4-0 lead after 3.
Want to hang out with other O's fans? Want to hook up with the O's announcers? You want HTSOnline.com's Wednesday Orioles chat. Every Wednesday at game time on HTSOnline.com.
Orioles Television Network coverage of Orioles baseball is brought to you by Chevrolet. Chevy, we'll be there. By Popeyes. Love that chicken from Popeyes. And by Southwest Airlines. Log on for low fares at www.southwest.com. A symbol of e-freedom.
Congratulations to Ronald Vaca, who entered at Heritage Auto Park in Owings Mills, and is tonight's winner of the Mile 1 Now You Drive sweepstakes. Ronald, you've won free hotel accommodations for 4 days and 3 nights and a free auto safety inspection. You can enter at any Mile 1 location. That's a new name for 30 dealerships, 25 auto service centers, or by mailing a postcard to the address below. 4th inning rolls around now. The Yankees on top by 4. Switch hitting catcher Jorge Posada to lead it off against Scott Erickson, who works the outside corner for the called strike. Posada walked his first time. As we talked about last night, Posada, like Derek Jeter, Bernie Williams, Andy Pettitte, came up in the Yankee organization. And now playing a very prominent role on this ball club, so prominent and the belief so high in Posada that the Yankees let the free agent Joe Girardi leave town and head over to the Chicago Cubs.
Well, Posada went through the mentoring process where Girardi really helped him out. It's the one thing. I mean, they kind of platooned. Last year, Posada had a horrible first half, good second half. Girardi known for calling a great game. Not much power, but some big hits in the World Series for him on occasion. So you learn from somebody that has a lot more experience, and then when you get a chance, he really did step up. As we said last night, maybe along with Bernie Williams, their most valuable everyday players the first half of the season, with Jeter out with that abdominal pull.
Second time tonight, Jorge Posada has drawn a walk, and with that, we'll take a peek at our Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield League leaders. So the 2 walks for Posada tonight bumps the base on balls total up to 68. Jason Giambi, with all that power, yet very selective at the plate with the lead in the American League walk category. Posada sitting number 5 now with walks 67 and 68 tonight. He's aboard to lead off this 4th inning against Scott Erickson. It's the 3rd hitter that Erickson has walked, 2 of them Posada.
Well, I'll tell you, there was a good article in Sports Illustrated about Jason Giambi, and they were talking about the approach that Oakland has in not only the major leagues but the minor leagues on base percentage. You have to have a 1 to 10 ratio. For every 10 at bats, you have to walk at least 1 time. And of course, Posada, I mean, Scotty threw the first pitch for a changeup for a strike, and then threw 4 balls that he couldn't even offer at. And I mean, I'm not getting on him because I think it's very heroic. He's willing to pitch with a bad elbow, but he's ineffective. And I just, you got to wonder if you can't throw between starts and then you can't pitch the way you'd like to. Why not shut it down for a while? I mean, you like to think the Orioles were contending, but that's not the case. And you can't stretch that reality.
2-1 to Thompson, make it 3-1 now. And Erickson has fallen behind Ryan Thompson.
If you favor your elbow, you usually hurt something else.
Jimmy, a lot of pitchers have been there.
Yep.
Speak from experience, no question. The 3-1. Fly ball right field. Easy chance. Brady Anderson. He's got it for out number 1. Speaking of contending, not contending, who is, who isn't, the Orioles 12 games under the 500 mark and starting play tonight, a full 11 games behind the New York Yankees in the American League East. Of course, the O's with still one of the better home records in the American League. It's 7 games over, but 19 games under on the road at 17-36, which has been an Achilles heel for the Orioles, obviously, this 2000 season.
Yeah, the Yankees, who are, of course, when you win 104, 114, you're playing well everywhere. But they're 26 and 21, both home on the road. You know, last year this time they were 57-37. This year 52-42.
5-game difference.
Yep. But they are playing better.
They are. They've won now 14 of their last 20. And of course, last year David Cone at 9-4 at this time. And with an ERA of 2.86, second only to Pedro Martinez at that time in the American League. So, but on the downside, Pettit was struggling. Moving his Posada on the slow roller off the bat of Brosius. Mike Bordick will toss out the Yankee third baseman. Now, speaking of David Cone, obviously one of the veteran stalwarts of the pitching wars of Major League Baseball. Good guy. And this was yesterday, David Cone. And Jim, I said it last night, he threw pretty well on Saturday. He gave up 3 runs in 7 innings and left with the Yankees down 3-2. But this under the watchful eye of Mel Stottlemyre. But Cone says everything's fine physically. It's not about physically hurting. It's just about making better pitches.
Yeah, I talked to him for about 10 minutes today, and he said, you know, arm speed is down. Last time he tried a little higher leg kick. It allowed him to get his arm up and in the throwing position. We saw him in New York.
Well, he did almost the El Duque imitation.
Yeah, exactly.
And wore the socks like El Duque.
But he's trying to make the adjustments that you try to make when you're 37. You know, talked about playing long catch, maybe build up your arm, get your release point out in front of you.
Off the end of the bat and foul from Vizcaino, so Erickson's ahead of the leadoff hitter at 0-2. I don't know, something tells me, just a hunch, that before it's all said and done, that guy right there is going to win a couple of big ball games for the New York Yankees. You look at his postseason record.
Well, he hopes to get the opportunity. Oh, you're right.
0-2 pitch. This is bounced slowly toward Bordick, who will charge and come up gunning. Not in time. Vizcaino beat it. Infield base hit for Jose Vizcaino. He is 3 for 3 tonight. 2 of them infield leg hits.
Really hadn't hit the ball hard, but placed it well. Tough play for Bordick. And again, if you don't run well left-handed, I mean, I talked to him. I said, when did you start hitting left-handed? First year in pro ball. They wanted him to hit the ball to the left side. Tell you, bang, bang. Could have definitely, I guess, gone either way. Mike Winters saying the Yankees win that one. But good hustle by Vizcaino. Smelled a base hit. And as you said, 3 for 3. Massaging the ball. It's going to look awfully good in the box score tomorrow.
Now Scott Erickson needs to get Derek Jeter with runners on the corners. Ground ball, base hit, center field. Another 2-out knock for the Yankees. Posada to the plate. Matos will fumble the baseball. That allows Vizcaino to come on over to third. Third 2-out base hit to produce a run in the last 2 innings for the Yankees. This one off the bat of Derek Jeter. 5-0 New York. 13-game hit streak for Jeter.
And what are the Orioles? The Orioles are 1 for 17 with runners in scoring position. So one team is hitting in the clutch, and one team isn't. You know, a ball that if it wasn't hit that hard, Bordick might have come up with. Posada makes it 5-zip. And still nobody up in the Oriole bullpen.
Paul O'Neill has picked up 2 RBI tonight on a base hit and on a bounce out. Towering fly ball deep right. Anderson, track, wall. That ball is out of here. 3-run home run, Paul O'Neill, and the Yankees have blown it wide open on Scott Erickson at 8-0.
Well, when Pettit pitches, they've averaged almost 7 runs a game. Up on the 7th of July, they had a 10-0 lead for Pettit after 6 innings. And tonight, after 3 2/3, it's 8-zip. Talked about Scotty trying to throw the curveball, and that's what he does right here. You can see him fool it, but the low inside curveball is dead to a left-handed hitter. High fly ball, and when it comes down, the Yankees will lead by 8.
Here's Bernie Williams. O'Neill with 5 runs driven in tonight. His 13th home run. He's got that average right up near 300, and now with 65 RBI. And some in New York will try to tell you that O'Neill's slowing down. Mike Bordick to throw out Bernie Williams. Inning over. Big 4th inning. O'Neill's 3-run bomb. 8-0 Yankees. Oriole advocates will be collecting newer gently used baseball equipment at gates A, H, and C on Sunday, July 30th for their cardboard to leather equipment collection. Now they are in particular need of baseballs and gloves. All equipment collected will be sent to children in developing countries. There's a young man that gained the fancy and the favor of the Washington Capitol fans. Jeff Halpern, young man who is right here, a native of this area. From Potomac, and had a big season. First year as a member of the Washington Caps, and enjoying Orioles baseball right here tonight. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not enjoying the 8-0 New York Yankees lead.
Well, at least you could come back from an 8-run deficit in baseball. Tough to do in hockey, isn't it?
8-0 in hockey? Ask Bill Bell, our director. He'll tell you that. Not many comebacks from 8-0. We'll see, though, if Albert Bell can start to put a chink in the armor of Andy Pettitte, who has kept the Yankees off the board in the first 3 innings. And Jim, you talk about Albert Bell being so explosive in June, but Albert, of course, now in a run of 92 straight turns at the plate without a home run.
Well, there are the numbers: 11 home runs and 63 at bats, and the other 322 over the course of this year, 7. You know, Terry Crowley tried to work with him last year, and he said, I don't make adjustments in the season, but I'll tell you what, you're looking at one of the finest hitting instructors, and you can just see how he's made a difference. And for some reason, Albert, you know, he has past success, but you've never been this old, and you haven't struggled this much.
This is lifted to shallow right. O'Neill will call off Vizcaíno and put it away for out number 1, so Bell out. The fly ball to Paul O'Neill. Kids will want to be at the yard on Tuesday, August 1st for Pokemon Dog Tag Night at Oriole Park. All kids attending the 7:35 O's Twins game will receive free limited edition Orioles Pokemon Dog Tags. Get your tickets by calling 1-888-848-BIRD or online at that Orioles website. Jeff Conine now to face Pettitte, and is roped to center. Base hit Conine. Now Jeff thought he had a base hit started his first turn, same way as he lashed it back through the middle, and Pettitte got a leg on it and deflected it toward Derek Jeter, but this time Conine with a 1-out base hit.
And Jeff's got his game face on, and he's been hot. Now 7 for his last 17 after going 2 for 36. And when he was in that slump, he said it's not only physical, it's mental. It's long gone, just like the guy at the plate now. Forget that he was down there under 240.
BJ had a base hit his first time and stole a base. Surhoff is 7th stolen base of the year.
You know, it's interesting about how much a coach can help you. I had a chance to play golf with Mike Schmidt, who got through the first round of the senior qualifying last year, and we were playing last winter, and I said, what are you doing? And he said, well, I'm trying to play on the celebrity tour. I'm also trying to play on the senior tour. And I said, do you have a golf coach? And he said, no. I said, maybe I should get one. And I said, well, you know, I pitched for 19 years, and I never ever threw on the side or in a game where I didn't have a coach looking over my shoulder.
Surhoff pops it up behind the mound for Derek Jeter to squeeze.
And over that 19 years, there were times when they never say anything. But it's nice to have somebody that you can trust. It's nice to somebody that can give you that little tip when you're struggling. Now, 93 at bats without a home run when you're one of the premier home run hitters, And I'm talking about, Albert, about your struggle. And all you have to do is look at Charles Johnson, who came over here with a long swing, uppercut. And he, just couldn't get to the ball. And he's got more home runs already this year than he's ever hit in his career. And today, are we going to hit before we stretch or whatever? And it's just that kind of relationship. So, I know Albert's done his way for all these years, but lately it's not working, and it's nice to have somebody on your side, so maybe you can get a little bit of advice to help the ball club win.
Check swing roller back toward Pettit. We'll throw out Charles Johnson, and that'll do it. 4 innings in the book here at the Yard. The Yankees with a big 8-0 lead.
The Injured Workers Insurance Fund is Maryland's heavy hitter in workers' compensation insurance, serving 1 out of 5 Maryland employers. Today they have more clout than ever with nearly $1 billion in assets. IWIF continues to be Maryland's #1 choice in workers' compensation insurance.
Bravo.
Thank you, Michael.
Excellent.
Back from the lunchroom.
If you continue to do it with that type of aptitude, you may have to do it more.
No. That's why we have Tom Davis on some nights.
Where is he tonight?
Ironsides. Dave Molina on the pitch for the Orioles. Up and down. And then Duncan Yo-Yo. He's been all over the place this year. Rochester, Baltimore 5 times. Pitched a couple innings in the opening game against the Red Sox back on Thursday. And at some point he will be up here long enough to really see whether he can pitch. I mean, at sometimes he'll have a pretty good breaking ball and good command of the fastball. Throws in the low 90s. Sometimes that breaking ball will be very sharp, and other times but able to really get his mechanics under control. He struggles with his control, location, and that's why sometimes he will give up runs. He's allowed runs in 4 of his 7 appearances. There he is, the coup de grace, the 3-run home run on the curveball off of Scotty Erickson.
Interesting, Jim, as Bernie Williams was bouncing out to end the inning. So many people in New York are, well, O'Neill's starting to slide now. He's on the downhill side. He's 37, and come on, Paul O'Neill, every team in baseball would love to have him as a guy who is going to come out and get you big hit after big hit all night long and play a terrific right field.
Well, the guy, it's very easy to be loyal to if you're Joe Torre, because you know about the work ethic, you know about the intensity. And I talked to him about that going down to first base last night. I said, were you upset? He goes, no. He said, I was a little embarrassed. I was about a third of the way down to first. So I came back. He said, I knew that I had another strike or ball. It's kind of why I was clapping my hand. He said, everybody thinks that I get all upset. I said, well, Paul, your track record. But a nice guy and a good guy to know, because his sister is a food critic for the New York Times.
That's right. Well, if the water coolers could speak around Major League Baseball, they'd tell you about Paul. But marvelous competitor, no question about that.
And he's had some great years. I mean, you were talking about it last night. Last year, the first time he did not hit over 300 in 6 years as a Yankee. And that was because, for the first time, really struggled, at least at that point in his career, against left-handed pitching.
And what's
under 200?
343 against lefties. David Justice trying to check it and went too far.
But it's interesting when you talk to Paul about last year. You say, well, okay, what happened? He said, I was horrible mechanically. I couldn't stay in. I couldn't. And I said, did you make any adjustments? He said, that's what I spent all spring training about. He said, I know I can hit right-handed pitching.
Got a piece of the right foot of David Justice.
I mean, you talk to any left-handed batter, and we talked about earlier that Justice also hits very well. They will tell you, Mo Vaughn, Rafael Palmeiro, Paul O'Neill, if the front shoulder doesn't stay closed, you can't hit lefties. And Mike Flanagan, who just left, as a reliever, used to say all the good left-handed hitters, they cover the outside part of the plate. And the way you do it is this shoulder has got to move that way. And that way you have plate coverage. Mo Vaughn, he comes right out here and he takes that front shoulder and takes it right to the HTS sign over the Oriole bullpen and into the Yankee bullpen. That's the way. He wants to trust his hands. If he can stay closed, he figures I got a chance.
Again, Justice got a piece of Lower part of the right leg on that foul ball.
See, I always thought pitching, when we look at a young pitcher like Gabe Molina, I couldn't do it early in my career, but once you get some experience and you know your windup and you know your release point, you want to stay, especially to a leadoff guy, you want to stay away from the 3-2 count. You got to take something off most of the time to throw a strike. If you don't, and you don't have good command, and you're not in command of your windup, you're going to invariably walk guys. And most of the time, 50% of the time, they score.
Justice with a drive to center. And will get down in front of Luis Matos. Base hit David Justice. He is 2 for 3 on the night. Leads off the 5th inning off Gabe Molina with a line drive single to center.
There's a perfect example. Don't want to walk him. You got to throw the fastball more of the plate. And Justice doesn't miss these pitches. Well, maybe instead of 93 or 4, it's 91 or 2. And he's laying in wait. And the Yankees already with 10 hits. Nobody out here in the 5th.
Tino Martinez this evening has drawn a walk and fly to center. He went 0 for 1 against Scott Erickson as that's a bounce foul. So Scott Erickson, who came in here tonight with a 7.41 ERA last just 4 innings this evening, and gives up the 8 runs and 9 hits. So with the outing that Mike Hargrove watched from the young lefty John Parrish last night, and with Jose Mercedes, even though he's had a blister bothering him, Mercedes pitching well his last 2 starts. We'll see what course of direction is taken with them.
Well, they told Mercedes with the blister that John Parrish is going to pitch Sunday, and he'll be out of the rotation. But again, you have a big, major investment in Scotty Erickson.
Martinez with a drive to right. Brady Anderson is there, and he'll put it away.
But what did Mike Flanagan say before he left? I mean, one of the barometers when we used to pitch is, can you throw on the side? You can't throw on the side, then you're really not prepared to pitch. You're not prepared physically. You're certainly not probably prepared emotionally.
Well, Jim, break it down this simply. It hurts your arm strength, correct? It's tough to build up arm strength to be able to go to the mound, and as we said last night with John Parrish, repeat pitches to each corner and to be sharp when you're not throwing on the side.
No, you're exactly right, and I think that we've seen that in Scotty's performance. I mean, you have to give him credit for wanting to go out there, but at what point do you shut down somebody that's extremely talented, extremely valuable if you're trying to get him back on track? What's wrong with going on the DL for 15 days, backing off a little bit, seeing? Now, I don't know the full extent of the injury. You don't know it's the post-surgery trauma. You don't know if it's tendonitis or whatever. But bottom line, you can't throw in between. It's very difficult to be as good as you want when you do get out on the mound.
Much shorter stay than Scott Erickson. Mike Hargrove would have liked tonight against the Yankees, leaving after 4. Posada with a ground ball that just kicks foul outside the bag.
Yeah, all these Yankees are trying to find something they can hit in that hole. Pull it, get it in the hole between first and third. Only one out, and get that first and third, you can create that fly ball situation. And this day and age, it appears that 8 runs with Pettit out there will be enough, but you never know.
Now Molina dealing 1-2 to Posada. Ring him up looking on the inside corner. A lot of late movement on that fastball from Gabe Molina, his first K of the night, as he sets down Posada.
A great pitch right here. Good velocity, great location. And it just freezes Jorge. He said, I'd like it a little bit farther out over the plate. And didn't get that request.
Of course he would. Ryan Thompson, right-handed hitting left fielder. Bounced around a little bit. Got a call, of course, when Shane Spencer went down, as we said. Grew up right here in the state of Maryland. It's like Denny Nagel. Boyhood ball club, the Orioles. And speaking of Shane Spencer, let's take a look at our IWIF injury report. Shane Spencer on that 60-day DL, torn ACL, and an outfield mishap, and out for the season. And Jim, he was putting together, maybe blossoming, coming into his own as a very solid contributor for the Yankees.
And not only offensively, everybody thought he was going to be a pretty good hitter, but really worked on his defense. But it's interesting when you walk into Yankee Stadium and you walk up to Paul O'Neill and you say hello, and unsolicited he says, "Wait till you see Spencer play left field." Does that tell you what this club's about? And why? Because Spencer was going to help them be a better ball club.
And Molina walking Ryan Thompson on 4 pitches. Put a couple of boards with 2 down here in the 5th.
I'll tell you what, I think the Orioles are in the right direction with Molina. When he was at AAA, they were letting him start. He needs to get out there and get as many innings as he can to get a feel for pitching, because he has a good arm. You know, that way he can throw his breaking ball and throw the 2-seamer, the 4-seamer, change up off it, and then eventually use that natural ability, because he has a good arm. Does he have command? Not yet.
Now Scott Brosius will face Molina. Jason Johnson was optioned down after an unsuccessful outing back in early July against the New York Yankees. As a matter of fact, he was summoned yet one more time. Gabe Molina. That's what he was, fan 9 last week. 5 innings of work. Molina in the start.
Because sometimes, you know, obviously he probably prefers to be here than Rochester, but for his long-term good, make him a starter, get him the innings, and then see, and just give him a feel for pitching. And very hard to do that at a major league level, pitching once a week.
Down the 1-1 pitch. Brosius from a fly ball center field. A lot of room out there for Luis Matos. They'll put it away. We're halfway home here at the yard. Yankees kept off the board. They do own an 8-0 lead. Tonight's contestant in our Pepsi Big Slam Home Run Derby inning is Beverly Barges of Greencastle, PA. Beverly, if a Baltimore player hits a home run during this Pepsi Big Slam inning, bottom of the 5th, you will win a case of Pepsi and $100. Now you can enter the Pepsi Big Slam Home Run Derby and you send a postcard to the address on your screen to register online at www.htsonline.com. A beautiful baseball venue here in downtown Baltimore. Best around is Oriole Park at Camden Yards, filled to the brim tonight. And 90% of this ballpark, Oriole fans, not enjoying this 8-0 Yankee lead. Of course, always the visitors from the tri-state area, New York City, New York State, New Jersey, Connecticut, always come down to the yard to check out the Yankees when they're in town here in Baltimore. And they have done that again in droves for this series as Will Clark leads off against Andy Pettitte.
Yeah, the Orioles, not a lot of chances against Pettitte, but back in the 2nd, 1st and 3rd, well, couldn't able to deliver, popped up to short left field.
And the O's, as we said, starting tonight, 12 games under 500. Their season low has been 13 under, and that has been 3 times this year. So they are in danger of, for the 4th time, falling to 13 below. Look at Vizcaíno with a couple of quick steps to his left. They flag down the ground ball off the bat of Will Clark and throw him out.
Quick feet. How's your first step? If you're going to be a good infielder, and you can see everybody moving right there, catch it, keep your balance. So Will Clark hits the ball very hard, but snared. And Crow gives him a little bit of a pack, because that's all you can do. I want to have a quality at bat, get a good pitch to hit, and he drilled it, but hit it right at somebody.
Luis Matos now, the young center fielder, has pedaled to work the outside corner. We mentioned Luis making in center field his 8th start since being summoned from AA Bowie. Matos called up to the Orioles during that trek out to the West Coast in the middle part of June, so he's been a big leaguer for over a month. And his first big league hit, of course, against David Wells.
He got a couple of hits that afternoon.
Andy Pettitte, Jim. Well, unless he implodes, as you talk about bats doing, is standing on the verge of being 7-0 here at Oriole Park against the Birds and going to 11-2 lifetime.
And tonight, you know, it's interesting. He's been so conscious of just cutter in that veering fastball in against right-handers. Tonight, he's not using it that much. Couple of times, 2 seamers away, which is what they've tried to get him to do. He's thrown his big curveball, and then a lot of run support. He's the pitching coach, Mel Stottlemyre. What an impact he made for the Yankees back in '64. First year he came up when they won 47 out of the last 51 games, and I think Stottlemyre went 9-3. Eventually losing to the Cardinals in the World Series. I mean, that's that great story they had about getting on the bus in late August. And Phil Linz from Baltimore is playing the utility guys playing the harmonica, and Yogi gets on. He's the manager, and he said, you know, cut that stuff out. And Linz said to Mantle, what did he say? He said, play it a little bit louder. And of course they find Linz, and then they won 47 out of 51 games to get to the World Series.
Matos with a drive into the corner and left. That ball is fair and one hop into the seats. And the automatic double for Luis Matos. Pettitte tried to come in with that cutter, and Matos got the barrel on it and yanked it into the corner and left.
Well, the Crowley drills. Short stroke on a ball in. We talked about going away. He's going to try to come in, and I tell you, very quick bat. And if you're short to the ball, you can keep that kind of ball fair. I mean, it stays fair by about 8 inches. I mean, watch how short this bat is right there. So you get the bat head out, and you don't have to hook the ball. It just barely stays fair. And the ground rule double for Luis.
Brady Anderson to face Andy Pettitte. Brady has had an infield base hit to start the game, and then lined out to Jose Vizcaíno at second base. Fourth starting call for Brady Anderson as a right fielder.
And then the Orioles 1 for 17 with runners in scoring position. So we got to get on the board somehow.
For Luis Matos, of course, now with 6 big league hits, and 4 of them have gone for extra bases. A lot of speed, we know that. And we talked about his growth spurt physically. Jim came to the Orioles at about 5'10" and maybe 150 pounds, and has gained 25 pounds since he signed as a 17-year-old. 1-1 to Anderson. Missed downstairs. 2-1 now on Brady. Andy Pettitte gunning for his 10th win of the year. Two on Anderson.
And Brady's smiling a little bit. 2-1 changeup. You don't see that too often. Look at Mike Bordick waiting on deck.
Pettitte dealing 2-2. Breaking ball. Sky to center. Plenty of room for Bernie Williams. Matos is going to tag and motor on over to third as Anderson is out number 2 on the fly ball to Bernie Williams. Let's take a look at an Aflac trivia question tonight. Andy Pettitte, second highest career winning percentage versus the Orioles. What former Oriole is 10-1 against the team that he toiled for here in Baltimore? You think about that for a while. Andy Pettitte, second highest winning percentage, although he, as we said, looks like he's got a pretty good shot at going to 11-2. But
is this guy active?
There's a former Oriole that's 10-1
active
lifetime. Yes, he is.
I don't mean playing golf.
Mike Bordick with a fly ball to right. Paul O'Neill has got it. And we're through 5 innings here at the yard. So everybody think about that for a while, huh? Andy Pettitte and the Yankees have an 8-0 lead. All right, Orioles fans, if you're looking for a caterer in the D.C. metro area that can handle all of your catering needs, call the amazing chefs at Lux Caterers. Lux specializes in corporate events. You give Lux a call tomorrow at that 301 area code that you see, or you can email them as well and get on board with some of their fine taste treats. 6th inning now. Gabe Molina on the mound for the Orioles. Michael Reggie, Jim Palmer with you here at Oriole Park. It's been all Yankees tonight. They beat the O's 4-3 last night and hold the big advantage this evening. Jose Vizcaino has been quite the table setter. He has been aboard all 3 times tonight and scored 3 runs out of his leadoff spot. Vizcaino up to 344 as a Yankee. It's popped up in foul territory and not enough room for Jeff Conine.
Yeah, I think the key for the Orioles is to get Jose to hit the ball hard. And then they might have a chance to get him out. But taking the place of Luis Sojo, in the sense that's what Luis did. Utility guy, and of course Vizcaino, a switch hitter. Tell you what, he's very honest. He said, I don't try to hit the ball hard. He said, I just don't have a lot of power. Line drive hitter, hit the ball the other way, both right-handed and left-handed. He said, why to try to hit home runs when you can't do that?
Well, now he's played on both sides of the Big Apple, both American and National League.
Said he prefers the Yankees.
Jose Vizcaino is 4 for 4. He guided a base hit between Jeff Conine and Mike Bordick. Hit number 11 for the Yankees, and Vizcaino has 4 of them.
I'll tell you, what a great approach. Now, he doesn't lie. He said, listen, I don't hit it hard. I'm going to hit it the other way. When I got into pro ball, they told me pound the ball the other way. And that's what he does. And that's his approach. Tony Gwynn. They call this right here the 5.5 hole. On your scorecard, third baseman's number 5, shortstop number 6, 5.5. And Gwynn got over 3,000 hits, a lot of them right there.
Maybe half of them, 1,500 of them.
Anytime he wanted.
Derek Jeter thinking about turning something around on Gabe Molina on that 94-mile-per-hour heater.
Well, the amazing thing when we look at Molina is that he never started a game in professional ball until this year. And he's got good stuff. And that's 94, right down the middle, and Jeter couldn't get to it. So if you get out there, and in 18 games at Rochester, he only had 27 innings, and in that one start, 9 punch-outs that you mentioned, Mike. And whether you use them as a starter or not, you get experience. You have to learn what pitching's about, 4-seamers and 2-seamers, when you get behind, taking a little bit off, adding a little bit. You really get, when you're a starter, in touch with your windup. And that's why almost all the good organizations, they will take their best arms and make them starters early on.
Yeah.
And then just think about some of the great relievers of all time. Almost all of them were starting pitchers at one point or another.
Molina working up in the zone now on both the fastball that Jeter swung through and the breaking ball here, the slider.
Yeah, well, Derek's wondering how. I mean, this is like the Houdini ball. Hanging slider, it hangs so much that he swings under it. You can see him waiting. So he had a great view right there from the Southwest Airlines overhead plane view. Tried to slow those hands down and still swung through it.
Molina working 2-2 to Derek Jeter. Fouls without a play. We talked about the 887 career base hits for Derek Jeter, 4th all time at 26 years of age. And when you look at the annals of the Yankees, .319 career hitting average he came into the season with. 5th best in Yankee history, behind the likes of Ruth and Garrick and DiMaggio. Drive to deep left. Surhoff on the track, and that ball is gone. Derek Jeter, number 10. You make a mistake, he can hurt you by going deep. He did it there, and the Yankees have put a 10 spot on the board tonight against Oriole pitching.
Well, he swung through one high slider and then connected on the next one. I mean, this guy, like we said, I mean, last year at 328. I mean, look at that hanging slider. It just kind of hovers inside. Great angle right here. Boom, gone. The power number's down for him because of that stomach injury. But eventually he's going to hit 30 home runs.
What did he go work on last year? What did he go down to the Yankees complex?
Driving the ball.
That's right. Drive the baseball.
Thought he was swinging down too much.
After he hit 24 home runs last year. Well, speaking of home runs, Paul O'Neill put a big crush to Scott Erickson with a 3-run home run. And the Yankees, the multi-run home runs tonight. Paul O'Neill with a 3-run shot, Jeter with a 2-run home run. Yankees have a very healthy and commanding 10-0 lead. Vizcaíno has not only had 4 base hits, he's gone to the dugout with a run scored on each and every one of them. Last turn at the plate is Paul O'Neill now hobbling around after a baseball got him on the foot. Jim breaking ball down at the shoe tops.
Yeah, Scotty trying to throw his curveball with his fastball not normal velocity. And he threw it down and in. And we've just seen, I learned it, Harold Baines hit his first major league home run on probably an identical, let me get that out.
Oh boy.
Identical curveball. I think you make a good pitch. Might have been if it was away.
Ground ball that got by the glove of Gabe Molina and into center field. Paul O'Neill now on the night is 3 for 4. And the Yankees have just put together a huge 13-hit barrage on Orioles pitching. With that, we'll remind you that you can pick up this high-quality, nice-looking Orioles sports bag tonight for $25 plus shipping and handling. Operator standing by, so give them a call at that number you see on your screen. Sammy Ellis on his way out now to have a chat with Gabe Molina, who has not retired a Yankee hitter in inning number 6.
He doesn't see that ball. I mean, that ball very catchable. Curveball for a home run, the fastball back up the middle, and that's pretty much the way O'Neill has hit over 300 5 out of the last 6 years. He will use the whole field. And of course, as a pitcher, if you don't field your position very well, why does Messina constantly win that Gold Glove? Because he's able to flag balls like that down.
Bernie Williams now. Bernie Williams has driven in his 90th run of the year. But the big muscle tonight supplied by Paul O'Neill with 5 runs driven in, and Derek Jeter has driven in 3. O'Neill 3-run home run, Jeter 2-run home run. And the Yankees have it in cruise control in inning number 6. Bouncing ball to the backup Will Clark. They'll knock it down. Molina late getting to the bag, but they got Williams by a half a step. Gabe was a little late getting over there, and Will Clark got his underhand toss to Molina just in time to nip Bernie Williams.
Well, you got to understand, I mean, the Yankees lead by 10. Now, a great angle right here. I mean, Bernie Williams is going to fly down there. And you're right about Gabe Molina. I don't know where he is. And he gets there just in time. A little toss from Will Clark. And he beats him by about a quarter of a step. And that's what this Yankee team's all about. They run balls out. They play hard, even if it's 10-zip and you're ahead. And something to be said for that.
You don't win 114 games in 98 and then 104 more in 99 with the World's Championships if you don't, Jim. Pretty simple, huh?
I tell you, their bench coach, Don Zimmer, when he was manager, he said a couple of things. Play hard, show up on time. And under the play hard is running balls out. No excuse. He said you can't run hard, you can't play. So you set those parameters, and then guys either want to play by the rules or not.
What's the one thing you can control in baseball? Right? You can hustle.
Yep.
Other things maybe you can't, but you can all hustle. David Justice with a ground ball at Will Clark. Justice gone. We're 2 down here now in the 6th. O'Neill moving over to third base. And that'll get Tino Martinez to the plate. The Yankees started tonight 10 games over the 500 mark, as Jim and I were talking about 5 games off their pace of a year ago. But taking a look at some out-of-town doings tonight in the American League. Boston losing again at Fenway. Toronto Blue Jays losing up at Skydome to the Cleveland Indians. So those two stay the way they are. This one also, Yankees will build a 3-game lead over both of those. Minnesota beat the Sox last night, trying to do it again. And Chuck Finley and Kelvin Escobar, the mound matchup in Toronto, and Finley and the Indians struggling mightily. They'll be into Oriole Park this weekend. But Jim, how about Cleveland at 11 games down to Chicago in the American League Central? That's just about lights out. Martinez with a shot that is just foul. They're thinking wild card in Cleveland, and that's a very unusual thought for the Indians going back to 1994.
No, you're right about that, but it's also something good about the wild card. It allows you, even though somebody is playing exceptionally well in your division, which is what the White Sox are doing, it does give you hope.
A lot of work to be done by that Cleveland ball club even to get there, as Martinez will foul it back.
Well, who would think if the Yankees, I mean, if you told them that everybody thought that El Duque, after pitching so well in the postseason and both the playoffs and the World Series, would be 8-7, Cone would be 1-9. Clemens had been on the DL for a couple of weeks, that they'd still be in front.
10 games over.
Yep.
Tino Martinez with a fly ball to right. He's going to back Brady Anderson up in the track. He's going to have room. He's got it. Inning over. Yanks get 2 more. How do they do it? Derek Jeter got a pitch that he could drive, and he did not miss it. 2-run shot from Jeter. Yankees lead the Birds 10-0. As we've told you many times, you really need to spend quality time with your family this summer. Take them to a Bowie Bay Sox baseball game only 25 minutes south of right here at Camden Yards. The Bay Sox showcase the Orioles' future talent. A lot more. You can get autographs, ride the carousel, catch fireworks shows after every Thursday and Saturday home game. Go on out and catch a game with the O Stars of the future in Bowie. Tough night for the Birds. Down by 10 here in the bottom of the 6th. Delano DeShields, first pitch swinging. Ground ball that's taken care of by Jose Vizcaino to throw out DeShields to open up the Orioles 6th.
So this is exactly the way it was in Yankee Stadium. Pettit had a 10-0 lead there. Going into the 7th inning, and then long inning as the Yankees had added some runs to make it 10-0. And they got to him in the actually would be the top of the 7th there. And eventually the Orioles losing 12-6 up in New York on the 7th of July.
There's Albert Bell. Bell is bounced out to end the first to Scott Brosius, and then flied out to right to Paul O'Neill. So Albert has now gone a career longest 93 at-bats without a home run. And that the gruesome story tonight here at Oriole Park. Ground ball over the mound and back into center field. Base hit Albert Bell. Bell's aboard with a 1-out base hit. Catch the hard-hitting, fast-moving, high-scoring excitement of Major League Lacrosse as the world's premier lacrosse players come to UMBC Stadium in Baltimore on Saturday night, July 29th. Call Ticketmaster for your tickets or go to MajorLeagueLacrosse.com. You ever play lacrosse? Ever try to play it?
No.
No?
Did you?
No, I didn't, but I tell you what, I wish I would have had the opportunity. Great game here on the East Coast, huh? I think of some of the top athletes that have made their mark in other sports. Jim Brown, maybe, in some people's mind, the greatest ball carrier of all time, running back in the NFL, All-American in lacrosse.
They said he used to strap the, I don't think you're allowed to do that anymore, but take the lacrosse stick and actually tape it to your wrist, and then wade through people. What, about 230?
Not surprising. Well, Jim, I've enjoyed since coming to Baltimore 4 years ago in the spring, heading out either to Johns Hopkins or some of the area schools and watching some top-notch lacrosse as Jeff Conine, college lacrosse.
You've enjoyed it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you really get around, don't you?
Well, Jim,
unbelievable.
Don't you remember, what was it, 98? I think the World Championships were here in lacrosse. Remember that?
Oh, yes, I recall that.
You weren't out there with me, though.
No, I wasn't.
No. We have a couple of guys in our crew. I was mentioning this last week. Jay Clark, Kevin Santos, both college lacrosse athletes. Back in the day, as the saying goes. But those guys aren't that old. Santos still looks like he's about 21.
Jay's a big guy.
Look at him. 25, 26.
A former world-class athlete. Unbelievable.
They have to be to handle the lenses now.
Conine's hit 2 balls hard. He's been able to handle Pettit. And right off his leg, right to Jeter for an out, and then a line drive to center.
Now Pettit misses away, and he'll walk Jeff Conine. So the Orioles get a couple of balls. Birds left 3 on in the first 2 innings, and of course Jim, fresh in the Orioles' minds, obviously. Last night they had Roger Clemens on the ropes, but could never get the big clutch base hit that might have removed Clemens as he danced his way to that 4-3 win.
Yeah, 1 for 17, 1 for 14 last night. I think 0 for 3 tonight. A lot of opportunities, or at least a couple of opportunities early on tonight. Of course, the big story out of the New York Times is B.J. Surhoff for the Yankees. How's he going to look in pinstripes?
Born in the Bronx, raised in Rye, New York. So how detailed did the Times story get today? You can enlighten us.
Well, they talked about, a David Walling, a Double-A right-handed pitcher, also a Double-A shortstop, Eric Almonte. Somebody we saw a couple of years ago, the right-hander Ryan Bradley. So maybe a 3-player deal. And they were talking about the fact that Montreal for Rondell White, we talked about that last night. They want Alfonso Soriano, and the Yankees feel that that might be a little bit too much because, of course, the Orioles also would like to have Soriano. And then also the Mets are talking about Bordick. But they need a shortstop.
Yep, the rumor mill is grinding here as the trade deadline nears. But again, we want to establish, because Jim, I know we say this at this time every year, but it bears repeating. Deals can still be made in Major League Baseball after July 31st. The only difference is you got to clear waivers on a player.
Right.
So without having to clear waivers, you have till July 31st to do that. After that, you want to make a move, you can. If waivers are cleared on the player that you're looking to move. Surhoff fouls off another 1-2 pitch.
And of course, I mean, this is all speculation. They're also talking about a number of options for the Yankees would be Ron Gant, who's making a lot of money with Philadelphia, and the Phillies are out of the race. And then you go to Pittsburgh for Will Cordero or John Vanderwall, and even the much-traveled David Segui from the Rangers. Rangers trying to dump salary.
Well, after what happened with Ivan Rodriguez last night, they may get into full gear with that. Pettit working on Surhoff. Couple aboard here in the 6th. BJ with a drive to deep right. It stays fair, but it's going to hook foul into that right field corner. Little too much top hand from Surhoff.
Now the curveball is designed to get you off balance, get you out in front. But if you hang it belt high, it becomes very hittable. But the off speedness of it, and yeah, little Carlton fist right there. But body language didn't get it to the left of the pole.
See, there's the breeze. A little deceiving here at Oriole Park. Sometimes it does not look like much movement with the flags, but the wind can swirl as Pettit missed with a breaking ball, and the count evens at 2-2.
There's a perfect example of a veteran pitcher knowing that the curveball he hit for an almost 3-run home run was a hanger, came right back with another one, but tried to get it in a better location. Because a guy who hits a curveball doesn't mean he's going to hit the good one. Same with the fastball.
2-2 pitch, ground ball, base hit right field. Bell will be held up as O'Neill got on the baseball. Orioles down by 10. Sam Perlazzo putting up the stop sign for Albert Bell to load the bases.
Well, the fans are booing, but I'll tell you what. I mean, you're 10 runs down. You're Sam Perlazzo. You're not sending Albert Bell. So BJ gets 3 straight breaking balls. I mean, the Southwest Airlines plain view, you can see him reach for it, but finds the hole. Martinez is going to dive to his right. Vizcaíno can't get it, but O'Neill's in very quickly. And most likely Albert Bell would have been out at home plate. So no RBI, but would have been certain death at the plate. I mean, it would be one of the worst plays in the history of the game.
You're absolutely. Sam Palazzo is one of the best third base coaches in the game. The fans can boo all they want. You're down by 10. You're not going to get a runner thrown out at the plate. You better make sure there's not even a throw if you're going to send somebody.
That might have been a play that if Albert did try to score, he would have tackled him.
There's Charles Johnson. Bases loaded with Orioles. Down by 10 against Andy Pettit and the Yankees. Johnson with a drive to right that is going to slice foul. Well, off the end of the bat from Charles. Pettit without a strikeout tonight, so he has all those crafty left-handers, Jim. They'll scatter those 8 base hits.
Well, he hadn't really needed a strikeout.
No.
The only really tough situation as you look at his pitch count was runner at third with Will Clark up. Second inning when he got him to pop up short left field. And then got Matos on a changeup that bounced to third.
Well, we talked about Albert Bell in the elongated home run drought. Charles Johnson, as a matter of fact, is sitting on his next career home run, being number 100 in his career. And Charles's last home run off Andy Pettit back on the 5th of July, so 3 weeks ago. Tried to check his swing and it rolled foul.
You're right here at 0-2. Maybe Pettit's thinking, okay, maybe I can get Johnson, who's a better low ball hitter, get the strikeout. But again, a ground ball pitcher, when he's on his game, he would prefer to double play. He'd be out of the inning.
Breaking ball missed. Well, the Orioles have loaded the bags. Albert Bell, Jeff Conine, and B.J. Surhoff. Charles hit in this bases loaded situation twice on Sunday against Frankie Castillo. Was not able to deliver. 1-2 from Pettit. And a miss away. 2-2 now on the Orioles catcher. A left-hander from Louisiana, Andy Pettit.
And now lives in Deer Park, Texas.
Jim, and the talk, although it has softened a little bit, also continues about this man, the O's catcher, Charles Johnson. More in the National League direction. St. Louis. With eyes toward Charles Johnson. Johnson waiting on the 2-2 from Pettit. Struck him out. Might have taken something off the breaking ball. Stayed up in the zone, but Charles Fanning, for the third time with the bases loaded in the last 3 games.
Well, the one thing about Pettit's curveball, and he threw Charles 5 of them, is that it's about 15 miles per hour slower than his fastball. So he pulls the string. The big overhand curveball fools Charles, and you talked about not having a strikeout. Well, he has one at a crucial time. Well, I guess you could call it crucial with a 10-run lead. I'm sure that Charles Johnson thought it was crucial.
Here's Will Clark now. Ground ball. Martinez will lay out and pick it with Pettit covering to get Will Clark. It was headed for the right field corner. Tino Martinez had other ideas. The Orioles turned away. 10-0 New York. Joe Torre may think Tino Martinez presses with a bat, but with a glove, he's worth his weight in gold.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I mean, he's got right there on his left hand is a 3-run eraser. 2 for his last 25. And I'll tell you what, you're 10 runs up. You do not lose your concentration, your focus. And I'll tell you what, you could put 3 runs up for the Orioles because that ball's going to go down in the right field corner, and the Orioles are going to only be down by 7. So maybe not one of those key plays, but that's what it's all about. Good pitching, and what makes good pitching is good defense. As Chuck McElroy will come on, pitched Saturday, gave up a home run in Toronto. Only a couple appearances since early on, and when the Orioles were up against the Yankees. So a couple appearances in the last 20 days. Numbers don't look good, but he has resurrected his career, changed his windup, said, listen, I'm going out there, I'm going to relax. I'm going to pitch as well as I can. Wanted to make a statement this year, and over the last 3 months has been able to do that.
It'll be Jorge Posada, the switch-hitting catcher, who now turns around and will hit from the right side against Chuck McElroy, Posada, Ryan Thompson, Scott Brosius, 7, 8, and 9 for the Yankees. As we now move to the late stages here at the yard, inning number 7. And McElroy, who spent last year in Queens pitching for the New York Mets, Bobby Valentine, although he did not get in the postseason, was on that staff in the last couple of months of the year. One now on Jorge Posada. Posada tonight walked twice. As we showed you, he's among the American League leaders in that category. And fan Gabe Molina got him on a breaking ball his last time.
Well, Joe Torre talking, he said, boy, I had a battery last night. Clemens couldn't control himself. I mean, he had like 5 walks. And he said, I had a catcher that swung at everything. And Posada came in last night from this side of the plate hitting 360. Because he, too, is a natural right-handed hitter. Actually, was a shortstop at the college level, and then eventually became a catcher.
Well, one of the Orioles' very stinging defeats this year, of course, Posada with a 3-run home run off B.J. Ryan back at Yankee Stadium back in May.
And I talked to Steve Hurt, who one of the brothers that works at the Elias Sports Bureau. They do most of the statistics for the American and National League, and he said on that home run, Cal was looking for the bunt. I wasn't doing the game. You and Flannery, about 50 feet from home plate.
Oh, Jim, easy. Maybe even closer than that. 2 aboard, down by 2. As we look at even on coffee, he was taken over from Mike Bordick. Cal Ripken creeping up, thinking, Cal had called the defensive set, and in that 3/4 turn, and he was maybe 40 to 50 feet away from the plate. And Posada put a charge into a B.J. Ryan pitch. Ball game, 3-run homer.
Well, how many times have we seen that? Brosius off of Arthur Rhodes last year.
Sure.
I mean, just crucial home runs. The Yankees just seem to be able to turn it on. And you can see Chuck McElroy when he falls off to the right. In other words, he's going that way. He's got no chance.
Well, Posada picking up his 3rd walk of the day. All right, Jim Palmer's been thinking about this now. We're going to give him a stab. Andy Pettitte, the 2nd highest career winning percentage, 10-2. He could very easily be 11-2 in a matter of an hour or so. But what former Oriole has the best career win percentage now against the Birds at 10-1?
I have no idea. Boomer Wells? No, it can't be.
No, it's not Boomer. He's active.
Jamie Moyer.
Remember that? We were just there. Come on.
That's right. That
partner.
Oh, he got a bunch of runs. Well, yeah, you're right.
He got a bunch of runs, yeah. But remember we talked about that. Moyer, since leaving the Orioles, having the big run of success against the Birds. What does Jamie Moyer do? A little bit of this, all that.
Well, Jamie Moyer uses his changeup like a lot of pitchers will use their fastball. I was talking to Sandy Koufax. You try to hang out with those guys with the Hall of Fame. And we got Whitey Ford on one side and Koufax on the other. And he said, think about your fastball. He said, you can use it 6 different ways.
Thompson will drive a base hit to left. Well, Ryan Thompson joins the party, and quite a 14-base hit, 10-run party it is for the New York Yankees tonight. Well, they've got 2 aboard again, and nobody out here in the 7th. Let's take a look at our Chrysler Plymouth upcoming games now. We're going to be on HTS the next 3 to finish up the series here against the Yanks. Doc Gooden and Sidney Ponson. Note the start time now, 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Tom Davis with Orioles report at 6:30. Day off on Thursday, and then the Cleveland Indians come to town. Haven't seen the Indians since the opening series of the year. And that'll be on HTS Friday and Sunday. Friday and Sunday, 7:30 Friday night and 1 o'clock, 1:30 Sunday afternoon. So we get a day off on Saturday, Jim. Brosius will rip a base hit center field. Posada being held by Willie Randolph as Matos. Throw will come through to the plate. 15 base hits for the Yankees. They've loaded the bases with nobody out here in the 7th.
Yeah, they've taken no prisoners tonight. They've hit good pitches, and they've hit belt high right down the middle pitches. Matos is going to charge this. And I'll tell you, you don't want to be sending them.
Jose Vizcaíno was already 4 for 4 as a left-handed hitter and scored all 4 times. And averages a Yankee up to 354. 5 for 5 would be a career high for Vizcaíno.
And he's 4 for 10 this season from the right side of the plate. Up 51 times left-handed coming into tonight.
Driven to the gap in left center, but Matos with the speed will get there to put it away. Tagging is Posada. He'll head to the plate with run number 11 on the night. Jose Vizcaíno. Well, he scored 4 runs, 4 base hits, and now he adds the RBI and the sac fly. 11-0 New York.
Well, what do you try to do? I guess if you got 4 hits, you try to get the 5th. If not, look for a pitch you can elevate. You're a line drive. You don't like to hit the ball in the air, but if you're Vizcaíno, that's the one time you want to do it. Well, it seems like sometimes that just comes like, I guess, cruise control. You just punch a button and it's going on, but it's a matter of trying to get a pitch up in the strike zone you can do something with. You see a lot of hitting instructors during batting practice will actually tell their hitters, okay, runner at third, less than 2 outs. Hit a fly ball.
Derek Jeter has had a rather large evening for himself. He's extended his hit streak to 13 in a row. He's driven in 3 runs tonight, 2 of them on his 10th home run of the year, the 2-run shot. As McElroy will fall behind Jeter at 3-0. And Jim, this club just doesn't give away at bats either. You know, they're up 11-0 here. You think the guy say, all right, I'm gonna hack early in a count. It's not the Yankee way.
And it goes back to what they teach in the Oakland organization. They said batting average is overrated. Now it's not when you get a guy with a good batting average and the on-base percentage, and the ability right here to take a hanging breaking ball and just smoke it for a 2-run home run. If they don't want to throw you a strike, who cares what the score is? Subjugating your ego. Not too many teams do it better than the Yankees.
McElroy to load him up again as he walks Derek Jeter, and that'll get Paul O'Neill to the plate. And we'll get a visit from Sammy Ellis. Well, Paul O'Neill has a chance to add on to his impressive 5 RBI night, and that's going to be the end of the night for Derek Jeter. As Jeter will head to the dugout.
Is that Wilson Delgado?
It is.
Yeah, talking to Jim Cott, he said he walks out, he sees Wilson Delgado, not a very big guy, in batting practice, hit a ball in the upper deck in Yankee Stadium. Well, here's a guy that pitched 25 years. As we look at Alan Mill get loose with the Orioles, he said, don't tell me the ball's not different.
Can't fool that kitty, can you?
Certainly he's been different for the Yankees tonight with 11 on the board. So the base is loaded for O'Neill. And Chuck McElroy, I mean, he's been all over the place. So there's no possible way, if you're Andy Fletcher behind home plate, that you're going to give him anything borderline. Just hasn't been. I mean, if the glove's on the outside corner, the ball may be down and in. You just don't get strikes. So he's behind guys. When he does throw strikes, been pretty much down the middle, and they're just laying in wait.
Nowhere to put O'Neill for McElroy. At the knees with a fastball for the called strike. Paul O'Neill tonight picked up his 5 runs driven in on 3 base hits, RBI single in the first, drove in a run on the fielder's choice ground ball, and then unloaded the 3-run home run off Scott Erickson. 2-1 on O'Neill.
Well, you talk to Chris Chambliss, the hitting instructor of the Yankees, he'll tell you, you know what, just like when he played, get a good pitch to hit, know what you want to hit. And the Yankees, they do it pretty well.
McElroy again working the knees inside corner, and the count evens on O'Neill. That man could swing the bat a little bit, couldn't he?
Oh, yeah.
First with the Cleveland Indians, Rookie of the Year there, before moving on to the Yankees.
And then I played for Atlanta for a while. Had some good years down there.
O'Neill rolling over. Ground ball that gets by McElroy. That's a lot of trouble. O'Neill is safe. McElroy had to take that circuitous route trying to get the baseball and then to the bag. Ryan Thompson to the plate. Give O'Neill his 6th run driven in of the night on the infield base hit. Yanks add on run number 12 of the evening.
Say the one thing is that when you're Chuck McElroy, we've shown you how he falls off. So he's going to fall off to third base. Now he's got to come back. He comes over. He's going to try to catch it. That time right there, you know, you work on that drill in spring training, but sometimes you just don't know. I mean, here's a perfect example. See how he falls off this way a little bit? Now he's got to come all the way back here, and by the time he does, the ball is going to go by him, and now it's too late. Clark makes a nice play. He tries to tag him, and the Yankees are hitting them hard. They're hitting them easy. Same result.
There's Bernie Williams now as the bases remain loaded. And give Paul O'Neill RBI number 6 on the night, up to 66 on the year. Glenn Allen Hill, you see, loosening up.
Yeah, menacing shadow on deck.
Bernie Williams with a drive to deep left. Surhoff is going to watch it get out of here. Grand slam home run, Bernie Williams. 16-0 New York Yankees.
flat-out hit. So you got O'Neill with 5 RBIs, and on this swing, and Bernie, another switch hitter, that natural side is right here. And he gets a crisp line drive into the seats.
Oh, they've got it all going on tonight. 17 base hit attack. There's Glenn Allen Hill, who last night also went deep. 2-run home run Jeter, 3-run home run O'Neill, grand slam home run Bernie Williams. The 3 main cogs in their offensive arsenal. Jim, fortunately, they all only count 1.
You mean as far as a loss?
As a loss, and that's about the best thing the Orioles can hope to take out of this tonight. Because this one has been very one-sided. One-two to Glenn Allen Hill, a miss downstairs. Glenn Allen Hill became the first Yankee since Barry Foote back in 1981 to, in his Yankee debut, first time at the plate, go deep.
Well, one thing about the Yankees who did their scouting report, I mean, since 1995 against left-handed pitching, Hill's hit 320, and he's also hit 26 home runs. So they get a guy that looked awful right there, but you plug him in. That's a guy that didn't look awful. In fact, both of them. Vizcaíno with 4 hits, the sacrifice fly, Hill down on strikes, Williams with a grand slam, 5 RBIs. Also Paul O'Neill with similar numbers. And here's a guy that, you look right there, 0 for 3, but he saved 3 runs for Andy Pettitte with a great play to make the last out.
Tino Martinez facing McElroy now with the bases empty. The Yankees tonight, 4 multi-run innings, 3 in the 3rd, 4 in the 4th, 2 in the 6th, and a 6-run 7th inning.
No, obviously very, very frustrating for Chuck McElroy. You pitched a couple of times since the 5th of July, and you can see on his face, because he's worked so hard the last couple of months after getting off to a bad start. And the numbers, his numbers will reflect this outing for the rest of the year.
Well, McElroy will fan Tino Martinez inning over, but some big damage. Bernie Williams. Grand slam home run, his 22nd of the year off Chuck McElroy, 16-0 New York. Let's take a look at a Lowe's Nose Today in Orioles history fact. This date 4 years ago, Robbie Alomar homered both sides of the plate in a 10-7 loss to the Indians. This was the second time he accomplished the feat, first coming with the Toronto Blue Jays. All right, a lot of moves now for Joe Torre. Wilson Delgado replaces Derek Jeter at shortstop. Also in the outfield, Clay Bellinger replaces Ryan Thompson in left field. And center field, Ryan Thompson will move over to get Bernie Williams out of the game. And Andy Pettitte stays on the mound with 16 runs of support. And you wonder what David Cohn's thinking over there, Jim.
Yeah, I was thinking that one. And when
I would like maybe just 6 or 7 of those and see if I could get a win.
My thought is, where's Johnny U when we need him?
I think you throw the deep out to Raymond Berry, and then you come back with a post pattern to Jimmy Orr.
Yep.
And then maybe get Lenny Moore on that toss sweeper on the right side, and you're right back into it. Think that'll work?
Yep. And when they got those guys covered, you throw one to Jim Mutchler. So,
or John Mackey.
One of those nights.
On the rig.
Pettit dealing 1-2 to Luis Matos. Got him with a breaking ball. Jim, Andy Pettit did not have a strikeout until he was faced with a bases-loaded situation in the 6th inning, and his shutout on the line. And then he fanned Charles Johnson, got the big play from Martinez to rob Will Clark. Now Kane Matos to open up the 7th. Here's Brady Anderson. Anderson with one of the 8 Oriole base hits on the night. Had an infield single to start the game against Pettit. Who Jim is going to go to 11-2 against the Orioles and 7-0 lifetime here at the Yard.
Say a 22nd round in the draft. Big kid. Well, that's a high number to go when you're left-handed.
Yeah, the way baseball scouts and talent observers clamor for top-notch left-handed arms, as you looked at Chuck Knobloch a moment ago. 3-0 to Anderson. Missed downs. The one-out walk from Andy Pettit to Brady Anderson. With that, let's take a look at a nationwide game summary tonight. Scott Erickson had a tough evening. He gave up 8 runs in his 4 innings of work, and now Erickson's ERA is going to climb near 8 on the year. Paul O'Neill has driven in 6 runs. Bernie Williams has driven in 5, grand slam home run included, and Derek Jeter, who's left the game, you don't see there. Jeter drove in 3, 2-run home run included for Jeter. He's even on Coffey now. Coffey came on to replace Mike Bordick. So suffice to say, the Yankees have flexed their muscles tonight.
So what, 2, 3, 4 have
15 runs driven in. Make it 6, 5, and 3. 14 runs driven in for the Yankees.
The newest version of the 27 Yankees right there. Murderer's Row tonight. Well, the Oriole pitching, they came in at 13th in the American League, and they're going to move a little bit closer down the rung to Kansas City. It trails about 1900ths of a earned run. The Orioles came in at what, I think 566, and Kansas City, or somewhere in that range, can't give you the number exactly. Kansas City at 585, the Orioles at 566, or 5.66, I guess. A lot of runs.
2-2 now on even on Coffey. Got a couple of finals in the American League. The Boston Red Sox are going to lose another game tonight to the Yankees, and so are the Toronto Blue Jays, it looks like. Minnesota beat Boston second straight night at Fenway 4-2. And Cleveland blowing up on the Toronto Blue Jays. Indians lead at 10-2 at Skydome in the bottom of the ninth. So the Yankees going to gain ground on everybody in the American League East tonight. Coffey with a ground ball that is foul just outside the bag.
Yeah, the Toronto Blue Jays made a coaching change. Rick Langford was fired, actually reassigned down to AAA, and Dave Stewart, who was an assistant to the general manager. Former 20-game winner 4 times. A couple of actually, what? The Padres in the World Series. 98? He was a pitching coach in 98 against the Yankees. So he will take Langford's job, trying to maybe help some of those younger pitchers.
2-2 to Coffey in the air. Center field, Ryan Thompson back a couple of strides, and he's got it for out number 2. Minnesota Twins that we just mentioned have beaten Boston 2 nights in a row on the road, invade the Yard, 3-game series. The only time Tom Kelly's club in here, July 31st through August 2nd. Good seats still remain for all 3 home games. Get your tickets by calling that number you see on your screen or online at the Orioles website. Here's Delano DeShields now. DeShields 1 for 3 against Pettit. Doubled in the opening inning, has bounced out twice since. it, dealing 1-1 to the Shields. Ground ball on a big hop at Tino Martinez. Take it himself. Inning over. 8th inning next. Yankees lead the Orioles 16-0.
Orioles Television Network coverage of Orioles baseball is brought to you by Mile One. Now you drive. Check us out at mile1.com. By Nationwide Insurance, financial services on your side. And by ToadNet.
You can pick up this high-quality, nice-looking Orioles sports bag tonight. $25 plus shipping and handling. Operators are standing by. And give them a call at 888-64-BIRD right now. Yeah, we're pleased that you decided to stay around with us tonight. Michael Reggai, Jim Palmer, as we go to the 8th inning.
Who are you talking to?
Our viewers, our friends, Jim. All that have stayed diligently by the tube tonight in the midst of this Yankees 16-run outburst. Alan Mills now making his 18th appearance as an Oriole.
I pitched Saturday night up in Toronto. Scoreless inning. Very important to try to keep your focus. I would imagine Allen will probably pitch the 8th inning, and maybe Mike Timlin will get an inning. He's been pitched in about 4 games, so Mike Hargrove might be thinking about that.
Jorge Posada to lead it off against Alan Mills, who's on the outside corner for a called strike. Posada walked 3 times and fanned tonight. Only has 1 official plate appearance. He's hit from the left side now his 4th time, and from the right side against the left-hander Chuck McElroy. It was Posada that started the 6-run 7th inning with a walk-off McElroy. And then it ended with a thud and a bang on the grand slam home run from Bernie Williams. 1-2 on Posada. Well, Jim, Mike Hargrove will ask Sidney Ponson tomorrow night, who has certainly not been sharp in racking up wins of late, to go out and try to pick the pieces up from this one and stop the bleeding, as it were, as Mills strikes out Posada. Our copyrighted telecast of Orioles baseball tonight, presented by authority of the Baltimore Orioles and CBS Cable, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the Baltimore Orioles and CBS Cable. Derek Jeter, Tino Martinez.
They look like Chris Turner, the backup catcher.
Having a laugh, and well, why not? Ryan Thompson had a base hit and scored a run in the 6-run Yankees 7th. Well, Jim, back to Sidney Ponson. I think it's incumbent upon Sidney to go out tomorrow and stay within himself, keep his emotions in check, and go out and do what he did in 1998 against this Yankee ball club twice, beat him right here at Oriole Park.
Pitched marvelous games, and he's been bothered by some soreness right side of his neck, which they've been treating. Richie Banzel, a lot of sound and stretching and things like that. Awfully good stuff. 9 strikeouts against the Red Sox, but still gave up a bunch of runs. It'll be, to me, it'll be interesting to see Doc Gooden pitch. He's been working with a specialist down in St. Petersburg that does a lot of pressure point massage and things like that. Actually have a machine, and he said it really loosens your arm, and he had better velocity on occasion. He said, of course, it's hard to go down to St. Petersburg between starts.
Thompson with a shot to deep center. Matos chasing. That ball is out of here. Ryan Thompson.
I tell you, he's a big, big man. From Centerville down on the Eastern Shore. 20 home runs down at AAA Columbus. Same league that Rochester plays in. Almost hit 300. So he gets to come home in a way and goes yard. 17-0. A lot of compression on this pitch. Boom, gone. And Mato's going to run out of territory.
Joins the party, 4th Yankee home run of the night. Number 119 for the New Yorkers on the year. Well, they've had every type of home run now that you can go out of the yard with, as Groshus bounces to even on Coffey, who throws out the Yankee third baseman. Solo home run Thompson, 2-run home run Jeter, 3-run home run O'Neill, and the grand slam from Bernie Williams.
Well, they almost have as many runs as they have hits. 17 runs on 18 hits.
6 turn at the plate for Jose Vizcaíno.
It's pretty efficient use of your hits, isn't it?
Very much so. Well, the Yankees took to the end of the 4th month of the baseball season to make their first appearance at Oriole Park. But Jim, as we talked about, it's one of their favorite road stops. And it's like they never left. And this one tonight, they're going to go to 33-17 regular season in the 50 games they played here.
And they had come in tonight winning 27 out of the last 37, so that'll go to 28 out of the last 38. Dominating the Orioles.
Vizcaíno chased. Johnson will complete the strikeout with a throw to Will Clark. 8th inning over. Yankees get one more on the Ryan Thompson home run and lead it 17-0.
Television network coverage of Orioles baseball is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Log on for low fares at www.southwest.com, a symbol of e-freedom. By Nextel, how business gets done. Call 1-800-NEXTEL-9. By First Mariner Bank, we built this bank for you. By Nissan, who invites you to visit your Baltimore area Nissan retailer today. By VoiceStream Wireless, the fastest growing nationwide wireless service. By Dodge, do not follow, do not conform, be different. And by Bell Atlantic, your guide to the wilds of communication.
A lot of ugly, crooked numbers on the board in the column of the New York Yankees tonight as they lead the Orioles in a big fashion. So let's head to the 9th inning now, and Mike Hargrove will get Mike Timlin a little bit of work out of the bullpen.
Yeah, actually a tune-up for the next important appearance for the Orioles. 4 for 4 in his last 4 save opportunities. He has not 11 out of 15 in the save category. Hasn't had a great sinker, so he's gone with the 4-seam fastball, and his velocity is in mid-90s, sometimes almost as high as 98 miles per hour. And once again, try to keep focus because this is not about tonight. This is just enough work to keep sharp when Mike Hargrove might need you down the road in a save situation.
The Orioles with one more to go against the Yanks. And again, remember that start time tomorrow night. We'll come at you at 7:05 for first pitch. And then after the off day, the Cleveland Indians will roll into town. Well, the O's went 3-5 on the last homestand. That's before winning 2 of 3 in Toronto. And the Orioles will start this homestand at 0-2 against the New York Yankees. And looking to avoid the sweep tomorrow night. But we've got a 9th inning to play, so let's see what Mike Timlin accomplishes against Wilson Delgado.
And Delgado started the season with San Francisco. Won for his last 12 and hit his first major league home run this year. That's a Yankee.
And going into the upper deck in BP, huh? Fly ball left field. DJ Surhoff in a couple of steps for out number 1. Here's one of the main hitting stories tonight. Del Torre has kept him in the game throughout the course of the evening. And Paul O'Neill has contributed in a big-time way. He's driven in 6 runs tonight. And he's moved the average over 300, Jim. As we talked about, only one time as a Yankee in 6 years as he failed to hit 300. So he's back over again here in late July. Timlin ahead of O'Neill at 0-2. So now about an hour and 20 minutes away from the 26th of July. So close in on the trade deadline now, less than a week away, 5 days away, as a matter of fact. The rumor mill will continue to grind surrounding certainly both these ball clubs as Sid Thrift on the left of your screen.
Well, the writers, when Sid came out on the field today, they descended him.
They
descended on him like the last cheeseburger at the In-N-Out Burger in Santa Ana.
Yeah, he had a few questions peppered at him, didn't he? Some of the New York writers are still wanting to know for the second day about Mike Bordick from the Mets perspective and DJ Surhoff from the Yankees. 3-2 to O'Neill. That'll miss. O'Neill with a one-out walk. And Jimmy, no, it's just not a good night when the number 4 man in the lineup is coming to the plate for the 6th time in the 9th inning. And Bernie Williams hitting that spot for the first 5, and now it's Clay Bellinger who took over for Bernie Williams after Williams unloaded a grand slam home run.
And Bellinger getting the start at first base last night against lefty John Parrish. Double and a fastball, anything up. It appears he likes. Now a little bit different tonight because Timlin's got about 3-4 miles per hour harder than Parrish. But he's a good high ball hitter. And he can play all over. So the infield, we see him tonight in left field as he came in. With Thompson moving to center.
Timlin's 1-1. This away, 2-1 on Bellinger. Mike Timlin trying to duplicate his same second half of the season performance here this year that he put together in his first year as an Oriole in '99. Fly ball deep left. Surhoff back at the wall and is going to run out of room. 5th home run of the night. 2-run shot off the bat of Clay Bellinger. Yankees have put 19 on the board tonight.
I tell you, the scouting report doesn't change from night to night. Guy doesn't hit a lot of home runs because he doesn't play a lot. But he doesn't miss too many high pitches. And he gets one. 2-1, he's seen 5 actually, this will be the 4th straight fastball, and he just launches it. So now the runs match the hits. 19 hits, 19 runs.
0-2 on Glenn Allen Hill. And homered last night off John Parrish.
And what's interesting is that when the Yankees are just going up there, digging in. I'm not suggesting to throw it, guys, but I mean, not any pitchers to move anybody off the plate tonight. So I mean, they're very comfortable. I mean, they're hitting everything.
Ground ball over the mound. Even on Coffey to handle it and throw out Glenn Allen Hill. Two down here in the 9th. 0 for 4 and a walk tonight. Tino has not joined the party, although defensively he did. Saved 3 runs on a ball that was headed for the right field corner off the bat of Will Clark over the bag, and Martinez with a diving pick at end of the inning back in the 6th.
Didn't the Yankees beat somebody 21-2, or did they lose 21-2 earlier in the year? They were involved in it
both ways. They lost one that way and then won one that way. One to Martinez is fouled out of play. Can't quite remember exactly tonight. I think one might have been the Boston.
Yeah, I think the Red played the Red Sox, and I believe that the Red Sox actually lost to the Yankees 21-2. That's when they were going through that real bad spell.
2-2 pitch. Martinez will hammer a shot to right. Base hit Tino. 20th base hit of the night for the Yankees as Tino Martinez gets his first.
I mean, just so many pitches in the middle of the plate.
Posada 0 for 2 with 3 walks. As you said a little bit ago, the Orioles tonight are going to be in danger of falling to the bottom of the team pitching watch in the American League, giving up 19 runs and 20 hits. Well, this should end the swinging of the bats tonight for the Yankees as DeShields throws out Posada. Bottom of the 9th is rolled around. Yanks get 2 more and lead it 19-1. That tells the tale tonight. You see it in front of you as we head to the bottom of the 9th, the Yankees having put 19 runs on the board tonight. And now Joe Torre is going to give the baseball to a young left-hander to mop this one up, Randy Schultz, who is appearing in his 9th game of the year.
Yeah, up Florida State University, we saw him pitch in New York, and pretty good numbers. Lefties hitting at just a little over 200. Threw a little bit harder than I expected. Had a pretty good breaking ball. He's a young man. When they were hitting for interleague play, said, I'm not going to bat. I'll never hit anyway, and I don't want to get hurt. And if he did, he probably wouldn't be able to pitch tonight. So here he is.
And here is Will Clark as well. Will tonight 0 for 3, and again he was robbed of 3 runs driven in and a bases clearing double by the play made by Tino Martinez in the 6th. Schultz works the outside corner.
Pretty nasty right there. You don't see too many lefties with that release point, and then right on the outside corner. Let him drop down. And you got a zoom ball, a little breaking ball also. And throws that fastball right by Glover. It's not about velocity. He's about 88, 89, but very difficult to pick up.
1-2 pitches popped up on the left side. Scott Brosius says he will and does for out number 1.
Center fielder number 32, Luis Matos.
And there's Luis Matos now. Matos doubled in 3 trips to the plate off Andy Pettitte, the starter. Four of the 6 base hits for Matos as a big leaguer for extra bases. 4 doubles. Harold Baines has grabbed his bat and made a move to the on-deck circle. Harold will pinch hit for Brady Anderson. here in the bottom of the ninth. The O's are going to fall to 2-6 against the Yankees this year. After winning 1 of 3 in each of the first 2 series in New York. 2-1 on Matos. Soto's fallen behind Luis Matos, who is waiting on this 3-1 pitch. That's ripped sharply, but right at Scott Brosius. Birds down to their final out here in the bottom of the ninth.
Well, good at bat, but he hits it at the wrong guy. Brosius, good third baseman, hits it 1 hop. Pulls it a little bit, probably another double.
Here's Harold Baines. Harold Baines pinch hitting for Brady Anderson. See the numbers on Baines. Did not get to start tonight at the DH with a left-hander Pettit on the mound as Mike Hargrove loaded up with right-handed bats. They loaded up, but DeShields, Surhoff, and Will Clark, Brady Anderson. So 4 of the 5 the left-handers against Pettit. 0-2 on Baines.
I'll tell you, tough to sit around and watch a 19-run outburst and try to hit those 2 pitches if you're Harold.
And 2 on Baines.
I'm not sure this is the true test for Harold, but Terry Crowley talking batting cages that finally this swing has come around. And you can see it reflected in Harold's numbers. His average is up, home runs are up.
And the 1-2 pitch. It's over. Schoch fans Baines, and the New York Yankees put the finishing touch on a huge 19-1 win over the Orioles as the Yankees go 11 games over the 500 mark. The Orioles fall 13 under. Our Dodge player of the game, Paul O'Neill. 6 runs driven in tonight. Yanks started early, took the lead in the opening inning, and never looked back. Orioles fall 19-1. Jim and I'll come back and tell you a little bit more here from the Yellow. All Yankees as they win the second of this 3-game series here at the Yard tonight. 19-1 the final. Andy Pettitte cruises to his 10th win of the year. Now 11-2 lifetime against the Orioles and 7-0 here at Oriole Park. Scott Erickson the loser as he was hit hard early. The Chevy play of the game. This is a crowning blow. Jim was already over, but Bernie Williams then launched the grand slam homer.
Yeah, it was over early. Chuck McElroy came in and really struggled. 6-run 7th inning for the Yankees to go along with a 3-run 3rd, 4-run 4th. And they added a couple of runs in the 6th, also the 9th, another one in the 8th. And anyway you add it up, the Orioles lose by 18, 19-1.
Be right back to the Yard in a moment on the Orioles Television Network. Yankees with a big Game 2 win over the Orioles tonight as they pound out 20 base hits and bludgeon the Birds. The final ad 19-1. Jim, I don't know if an insurance run in this one is applicable, but anyway, it is that as Paul O'Neill with his 3-run shot.
Well, great night for Paul with 6 RBIs, and 3 of them came on the curveball off of Scotty Erickson. So O'Neill at 37, another banner night, as did the Yankees. And I guess the interesting thing is we look at tomorrow night's game. Ponson will pitch right-handed. Couldn't get out of the second inning with a 7-run lead. The Yankees against right-handed pitching 42-28. Everybody got left-handers. Cleveland, Texas, all the teams that wanted, or at least thought they were going to be in the playoffs against the Yankees. They're only 11-14. They're making, I guess, 11-14 against left-handed pitching, but against righties it will not be an easy task for Sidney Ponson. But the Orioles got to look forward to hitting off a good one, because doesn't have the success that we saw Andy Pettitte, now 11-2 lifetime against the Orioles.
We'll see if all that shows up tomorrow night as the Orioles and the New York Yankees come right back here to the yard for Game 3, the finale of the series. We'll be on HTS tomorrow evening. Please join Tom Davis. We'll start at 6:30 tomorrow night. Orioles report, and then we're playing baseball again. Note that start time now at 7:05. All Yankees tonight. Paul O'Neill. 5-home run night for the Yankees. Derek Jeter went deep. So did Bernie Williams with a grand slam home run. The big 3 propelled the Yanks to the 19-1 win over the Orioles. Orioles baseball, a presentation of the O's TV network, CBS Cable, and Major League Baseball. From producer Chris Grain, director Bill Bell, all of our outstanding crew, and for Jim Paul, I'm Michael Regai. Thanks a lot for sticking with it tonight, everybody. Birds with no success. They'll try it again tomorrow after losing to the Yanks 19-1. See you tomorrow. So long.